It's the last day, it's the grand finals. It's been a long journey for a lot of these teams, with an extra quirk to bookend the tail end of 2022's NA competitive season of Valorant to see that each team can't use the same agent as the other team around. My name is Keg, and I'm joined by the amazing Ravishing Ravish, and we're gonna see who wins it out between Shopify Rebellion and TSM.
Both of these teams have looked supremely dominant so far throughout the brackets, even from the beginning of our past 4-day events here, Max. And what we witnessed so far, naturally, we were thinking that with a couple of the games going to OT, we might not have the same results. But both Shopify and TSM have proven throughout, no matter which team they face, there's always a way to win, whether it be against Oxygen, XOR, and whoever struggles across the board, but one that was well worth it considering this is single elim. So if you're gone, you're gone. But luckily, both of them stayed alive.
And both these teams have fought tooth and nail to get to the grand finals too. You say single elim, but if you remember just last night, we were on the verge of a quintuple overtime between Shopify Rebellion and Oxygen Esports to get to this grand final slot. So when you say single elim for the grand finals for a big tournament like this, it means everything for both these teams.
100% it does, and especially considering this is a big old event, right? It's VCT off season, and we're looking at Ascension, right? And of course, with Shopify alongside TSM, both of these are some of the favorites going into Ascension next month as well. And we're going to be looking at them, especially on the Knights channel. In fact, going into Challengers, what's going to happen considering they're all vying for that main spot all the way at the tippity top to join along with the main VCT circuit. So you know that this is it's gonna be top beans. Now, although it may not give the clearest indication as to what might be there, but at least it'll be a fun time to test your other teammates.
And you're absolutely right. This won't be a clear indicator about what the teams are going to look like going into the next year, but it does give us a really good insight on, macro level fundamentals, communication, how you can play off each other's utility, what the communication and chemistry is like. All of that still is super prevalent here. And of course, with the offseason being the offseason and the new season starting soon, there is a little bit of leeway time between this event and the next, so there is more time for both these teams, regardless if they win or lose, to keep going and fight harder and really tie things up to make whatever happens in these grand finals even better in terms of gameplay for next year.
Especially considering it is a beast of 5, so that'll allow them more than enough opportunities to test one another, of course, throughout this entire day possible. Now, with all that being said, let's talk a bit about the map pools that we have going into today within our BO5 here, Max.
Absolutely. Here we go. We got ourselves the Zenny map picks and bans, and of course, the best map ever in the game, Fracture's gone, which is a little sad, but both these teams have had really high highs and kind of low lows when it comes to Fracture, but, starting off on Bind, this has been also a very, very low map for Shopify. So them kicking this map first is a bit of a question mark in my book. Even when we went away from nearest airport and Shopify going against them on Bind into Oxygen Esports, I was expecting to see drastic improvements between both Shopify Bind maps, but the answer was no. Moose as Viper dropped 1 in 12 on this map, but didn't make up for the impact by having so much utility being dumped out that it promoted a lot of other amazing players like Dazzle and Vic to truly pop off. But why would you choose that again for your first map?
I mean, it is a puzzle to me, my friend, especially considering just the overall map pools in all the best 3 games we've had have kind of just been this, right? It's been Bind Ascent and Haven, or even just Ascent, Haven, Icebox, or just some mix of those 3 for the entire time. The only thing that's changed is it's now Breeze. Well, that's been added in as 1 extra map. Now, on the other end though, I will say, for TSM, on maps like Ascent, they've looked incomparable. Like every single set map I've seen out of them has been extremely dominant, to be fair, against some pug squads and some kind of tier 3 teams, and considering how strong TSM is in general with their mechanical prowess. So if I find that does make sense. But on Bind and Ascent, I find it'll come down to a lot of that. Since we see a lot of 3-2 splits from both these teams. Now on Haven though, it can definitely vary, but we'll get to that when we do end up actually end up getting there. Aside from that though, for some Shopify's end, I'm going to need to see strong beginnings if they are to put up any sort of contention, because so far, TSM's only really struggled on 1 map throughout all their games.
See, I'm really glad that you mentioned strong beginnings from Shopify, and despite them having kind of a bit of a 50-50 when it comes to those matchups, I do think Shopify starting off on the attack is actually a benefit here. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. What? This is Valorant. You can't have a strong attacking side going first. You're at a disadvantage. But with agent drafting, and of course we're getting to the agent select momentarily, let's talk about why a Shopify starting on the attack could be a benefit. Yesterday, Shopify was playing all day on the Knights Arena stream. And with that, every single team in the matchups they were in, starting off on the defensive side, actually led at best, and I mean at best, the best halftime scoreline was getting 4 rounds. The most common that we saw was 2 or 3 rounds on the defense. So these attacking teams could have a strong advantage going to this final game, but like you said, Ravish, TSM have been super strong on their aggressive prowess for the entirety of this event, and with Shopify themselves on their own attacks, playing so much slower for their early and mid game and going for these pop-level executes towards the very end to find success, I honestly don't know how much the sides are going to be going into this as an advantage.
Well, we're about to find out, my friend, as we're almost about in to our first game of the day. Of course, this is our eBay Agent Select. For what we have, we were talking a bit about who's going to have the Viper, and I know Shopify once again. I bet I'm more than likely that's going to go to Moose. On the Viper again, as we up against the Astra, right? That was going to be the main trade-off. I was looking at, of course, with the KO and Fatal switching sides, and along the Brimstone, 2 different ends. Seen so far. It should be a really fun.
I think it's going to be a fun time too. We're going to be going into this momentarily and see where the advantage could be coming in from. And again, my eyes going into this are going to be both of our controller picks. Not a single double controller from either side, unless you want to count the Jet having those the Cloudburst coming through to help out a little bit. But here we go, map number 1. Now, I want to focus your attention to one very specific person. I know I've been saying that like 4 or 5 times. Moose has been one. We've talked about also Hayes on Astra as well. But I want to focus too on Corey. And one big thing we took away when we were going back and watching the footage going from the last few days to now is that Corey's entry potential, both on attack, of course, and even the defense for taking first fights, was really good. B-Dog normally plays Jet on this map, but chooses not to anymore. So I don't know if we're going to see that glass cannon operator come back out. But if it doesn't, that means Corey might be able to get a lot of free distance onto a site when we swap sides.
It's entirely possible that, you know, Corey decides to just play up just super far up like that, but for now, we'll see what SR decides to do. It's been kind of a battle of styles, especially throughout this entire tournament. When I look at both TSM and SR in terms of what they managed to bring out, the TSM with the hyper aggression, like you're mentioning, it just gun dipping at certain points between Shopify Rebellion's their own control style of play, but even now, they're getting stalled out at the entrances. The Spike's still in a non-committal position, so they take their time to double peek out long. They see Dazzle. Well, he's calling over reinforcements, but GMD is 7. One by one, take down another. They could re-peek this as well. They see one more. That's a jump peek. No flash here. Find one. B-Dog getting compressed. And that's a call for reinforcements.
Yeah, with less than a minute left into round 2 reviews. It's going to be a big struggle for Shopify to find any distance onto the side, but as I say that, Mod's good for 2.
Bot actually just made it right past Fuka as well, so they were not paying attention to that. They decided to give it the side, thinking they won't be able to get past it, but they saw both of them, having nobody else watching that either. SR just get a free plant when they were thinking things were gonna go a bit better. Hayes, though, I don't think he actually checks his box. This is such an unorthodox angle.
Oh, Hayes.
Trying to hold. Yeah, you just is no shot. You do actually hold it. Either way, as it look to move in, slow 2v3, SR super low. One body check, that's one for Corey. Second, we're looking at 2 off site. One more could just take it. Corey's pushing, but they're not gonna defuse it just yet. On the outside, it's stacked up. Mata with one more. But Nature's running out of time. He has to take Mata out first. He has to push for 2. But there's no more time left here, Max. Yeah, Nature is just going to try to get Moose here. Can't defuse.
This is the #1 attacking strategy we see from Shopify Rebellion on most of their attacking rounds on Bind. They love to bring down that Viper wall, dividing away Lamp's control and still gathering that 2/3 pinch that you need to really gain control of a site on Bind. But here's the thing, most oftentimes that wall's a bit of a fake or a last-minute resort. Even without any sort of control or utility, no line of sight denial at all, Shopify are so good about pressuring B long and taking those even double contact fights that we had seen at the beginning of the round. And this time, TSM, they don't have anybody stacked up on top of B connector. Instead, it's Hookah.
Flash out, bold call. Thinking they might have been spot one, but have to peek up fast enough. There's just so many people there. GMD in a corner, but that box is yeah, it's gonna just fall with a bulldog. Not some Moose, who's should be able to get two here pretty freely. Yeah, that's it.
The Moose is loose.
Not just yet. He's doing fine, but he's still engaged.
He's already doubled his impact kills from the last series. Unbind.
Moose is doing fine. Everybody has rough games, but it's all good. Dazzle not getting the final. The bonus naturally goes in SR's favor. And I just can't help but think that this is just a product of them giving up the one main sideline so easily and not having anybody move over from B. And deciding to just let, you know, Mata move in onto this like pretty much free pass Tuka. Either way, the front out. We'll see if this is essentially what does go on. Those things were stacked. We've seen the past two rounds for the spread from TSM. Should be the same peek out B long with the Sky Flash.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what TSM's response to the Viper Wall is going to be this round. We see the 3 stack on top of A yet again. Shopify Rebellion, though, looking to maybe put their positions more towards B. And Dazzle with that shock dart that might be able to find a little bit more impact here. But again, TSM, they're almost forced to be in these same exact positions over and over again. Shopify playing a great game of conditioning here. And while there's a big stack up from TSM outside showers, they didn't really account for that small lurk that Moose had going towards the teleporter.
There's still one person there. That's Mata as well. So Mata's been chilling outside showers, keeping them interested at least. But it's a 4 stack over towards B. I've not able to go in just yet, but the Astra smoke hasn't popped either. And so from what we're seeing, TSM is getting pitched. GMT has to be good for at least 1-2 here. As the flash that goes out, that spike is down. Looking at one more, but they made their way to the site once again. Max did not be able to turn around. Vix gets his with the flash. Manages to turn it around. Now GMD knows he has to play Spike, but the rest of SR as well are caught in such a tough position where they got to go all the way around to recover the main objective as an attacker.
I love this anchor here. Nature, kind of toying with his food a little bit. Spike's down though.
Left.
And Shopify, they're down 2-1. Have to gather that control, but there's a huge line of sight that could be controlled. Double contact being held by TSM. Still the anchor of Nature on A side as well. So no full rotates over from one site to another.
They'll just take the York. GMT definitely hears this. One more answer. Second should be gone. The flash is not even needed. STSM probably come back on their bonus. It's 2-1 as expected. And this once again, a bit more control, right? They played it more patiently. They didn't actually allow SR to just get all the free space.
Yeah, and that eBay Team Ace was definitely in the favor of TSM. That was the bonus buy from Shopify Rebellion. It was around, more often than not, kind of designed for them to lose. But now they're on the same economic path as TSM. And whatever bodies had gone down from TSM that last round, it's going to be extra money that kind of wears away at them as a whole, possibly for the rest of this half. We can look at Corey here. Light Shields and Vandals, not a single cent to his name, kind of like my bank account. But hopefully, though, he can find a lot of impact here with the first few frags of the round.
Looking to invest. Yeah, it actually cuts off the site in half this time, though. So focusing a bit more towards the shower control, right? So that way you're not able to just gain free sightline on who's just chilling up by 8. So not too bad. At least gives them a bit option to go into showers for triple control. But they're not even near that right now. Here's the 3-2 split. Down long. GMD there has to be played super careful. With the Trailblazer, now he might be in trouble. They can swing on top of him. Yes, they do. As 7 also there for the backup, but he gets taken down by Dazzle. 2 more there. That should be it.
Great execute. Full control of the site as well. And look at the rotate value now that TSM has. This could be a gigantic crush. TSM again, they did win the previous round, but their economy's still in a little bit of shambles. Call's been made to go for a save. Shopify again for the first full rifle round. Things are looking good, but if you're good for exits to Ravish, you might as well try to kind of take away some guns post round 2.
And that's the biggest thing that I've noticed a lot of the TSM SR games. Like SR is now the first team that's actually punishing TSM for, you know, being a bit cheeky with the positions, going for 2v5s or 2v3s to say, because they're able to actively match them with their own mechanical skill themselves, especially with players like Mara, like Vic, like Daz, like Moose, B-Dog even. That's the whole squad. So, TSM getting taken down as 2 once again. But SR is kind of falling off as they notice that TSM themselves, they're not able to defuse it, so they'll take the round for free at TSM. What a save, probably.
I think if you're an aspiring pro player for Valorant, or if you just want to get better at Valorant as a whole, I think watching Shopify's games and seeing how they condition their enemy on the attacking side is a really good example about what you can do to just kind of keep people at bay. For the most part, there's always a 3-stack from TSM, or really any match you go back historically and watch this tournament, where these defenders have to hold the majority of their team on A because they have to abide by that Viper wall to see if anyone lurks by. They're tighter corners on B, and now actually this time it goes against the grain. TSM a 3-stack outside of B themselves, but are they going to find that contact? Shopify have read into this and they're switching up the script. They're pushing for this slow lurk towards A off that 0 point.
S7 takes a safe route, chooses to go up on the wall by Hookah. Him holding this is so precarious because if you lose that duel, then you're also losing control. Hayes though, unfortunately with the wall being not up, they manages to walk into A for free. So now here come in SR once again.
Enemy remaining.
The top angle with GMD and Corey. They're 3 seconds this time. We were talking about conditioning, and TSM have adapted to it. You know, they put up a much heavier front. It's a flawless to end it off. Back and forth we go.
And going back to what I was saying at the beginning of that round, it's almost like the conditioning factor was there had it been that lurk from A site to succeed. But now TSM are reading into one, maybe 2 possible big brain level strategies that Shopify have been employing this far. And they're just reading into the fact that these are really slow approaches to a site. You mentioned it yourself, Ravish. Shopify aren't really known for their pop executes. They're not really known for that fiery inferno of getting into a site. They're kind of slow. It's a simmer to get in. It's a slow burn to get that spike in the ground. And TSM are taking advantage.
And once again, we go back to similar push, but this time, Lucky looking to put out that pop we're looking at, right? As a showstopper and the heart is Fury, but matched by none so far. Managed to get 1 tag by the end of it, but the rest of TSM still staying safe on site. Mara squeezed on GMD. He's got guarded control, but it's not gonna get past the smoke. And notice this though, not a TSM are rotated over, they're still holding strong by A. And Beyond second once again to survive. You see 3 in front of him. Can only take 1. In the smoke, Corey gone. And now comes in the rest of TSM. 2v4 is gonna be tough.
Anything I say about Shopify, they're just doing the opposite next round. They went for a faster exec that time. And what's more, TSM, they're kind of forced to respect it. The 2-4, or 2-1, excuse me, right now. Fractions are hard. But another force to save? TSM, this is multiple saves pretty much in a row now in Shopify. They're just finding so much luck on B site. And no matter what positions or how many bodies you hold for TSM, there hasn't really been a mechanical answer outside of Corey getting that double tap on the top of box that last round.
It's a tough call, right? Because if TSM isn't able to have a better stack on the usual site that Shopify manages to attack half the time, which hasn't been so far. You saw the round they won with guns. It was 3-stack that did work out. And aside from that, TSM though is losing pretty much all the defenders on entry. They're choosing to hold on site. And when you do, you have to be good for at least your 1s. So that way you make your 3-stack a bit easy. So that way you make your 3-stack a bit easier to try to come in on even ground. For now though, we'll see how SR does.
Who's has Viper's Pit? Could be a first time we see a full exec towards A. Possibly a crunch too. There's no one, well, possibly one pushing outside of showers. That's Nature. The onus of this round essentially goes on Nature's shoulders. He's good for that opening pick. This could go devastatingly bad for Shopify, but again, all this util goes down for what aspect? Nothing really. Nature's forced to respect that boom by util. Does shoot it out, so somebody is showers as that wall goes up and Moose goes for the lurk.
Toxin screen down.
Problem manages to catch 1, but through the wall, they made their way out to the site. have not been able to gain much shallow control just yet, but they have to be able to find exact angle where they can plant, and it's going to be based on where they push off a shower when the smoke's dropped. And as they do right now, this gives SR the control they want to do the plant by triple. As they get sprayed through the smoke here, Max, but no one spotted yet. The knife is good though. It's completely corner 7 towards the back of the site, and Hayes and GMD get their own trades. A trade 8 at least. 2 more left inside TSM. As finally 7 gets his, but only leaves Corey.
I really love that aerial shot that we had seen from our amazing observers. It really goes to show when you divide out a site, how much of a no man's land the majority of the site is. The only impact we really saw was, I believe it was Hayes wrapping around lamps and finding some impact there against Shopify, but otherwise, it's almost unapproachable. And as much as it is unapproachable, you can't really retake either whole of site. And TSM, outside of Corey getting an amazing operator shot, have not been able to find where they want to be in terms of their positioning in a round. I know that sounds really basic, but it's like your general where you need to stand on a site is just so awkward at times on bind, because you have to play for double contact, right? And when you're blasted away by so much LOS denial, you have your own Astra smokes, you have the double controllers from Shopify, it gets incredibly tough to really find a place where you can play with your teammates.
Exactly, and considering Shopify's already in the lead on the attack, right? You're assuming that on defense they can do even better with those double controllers, in fact. So right now, Shopify is kind of setting themselves up for success even more so. It's GSM. Still got guns in their hands. They'll take some time as they all move back. It's just a poke towards B. Kind of harkening the condition you were saying previously. So this is interesting. That right after that, they'll choose to move over and attack us 5 on A.
Orbital Strike and Viper's Pit still available for Shopify too. This could be a round-changing ultimate from either one of those players. All it requires though is getting onto a site, or in case of Brimstone, maybe just waiting for that spike to go down and playing for the post plan. Hayes has the right idea. Vic is there for the opening shot. But again, now already at a disadvantage, down by a single body, no controller util to work with for TSM. Things aren't looking good.
Hayes is unfortunately caught too. You can actually peek that from up top, but Hayes couldn't see nothing at all. And now with him gone, you look at the rest of the team to be trying to move in. Nature was still there. That's only 1 for him though. And SR always make sure that they're playing the double, right? One after the next. It'll allow for 2-for-1s every single trade. Has genuinely got in their favor where they've always gotten the first. It's 3v4. This is a big round for TSM. They don't want to let it go to 4 rounds in between them. Keeping a 2-round distance is probably the best option they have, but if they lose this, their econ might be in personal shambles. And the way we're looking at it, they've saved so consistently that even right now they have no real option of trying to clear out the site. So they'll take 3 weapons, likely get out of there.
B-Dog goes down. That means the orbital strike will be available. A great read, but B-Dog is there for the double tap. Good lord. And all that's left now is the operator save yet again from Corey. But you're completely right, Ravish. There hasn't been like a lot of stopping power against Shopify Rebellion. And, you know, in a tournament outside of Freeze Out where there is no agent drafting, the answer's obvious, right? You want to go for, you know, something that might be a little missing from both these team comms. Man, it's on the tip of my tongue. Maybe a robotic kind of guy, tripwires, or German Billie Eilish with a giant turret. There's a lot of different things that you could do, but yeah, but I mean, there's no stopping power in terms of utility for either one of these teams. That's where the defense is going to struggle, because you don't have any way of slowing down either attack.
And we've seen this is why TSM is playing a lot more far forward on these angles, right? Although splits have kind of like gone between the 3s and 2s, that we experienced a big knife as well. Should have gotten a fair amount of info. But nonetheless, they go past the drone. He swings off of this. GMD good for 1 and the second as well. But SR, as we mentioned already, they've always gotten the first. It's been 2 to 3. I don't know about you, but 3 is almost certainly bigger than 2. Which we need to get this. And there we are once again. TSM fall down to just Corey, who saved this op like 4 rounds in a row.
This is the kind of thing that we see a lot on Haven for defense, where a team will usually just attack and fastly take a site.
Yeah.
And we don't get to see that too often on Bind, where you almost having an operator is kind of a curse. You're not able to play with the team as much, especially for retakes, because the corners are so narrow and rigid that pretty much in order to find a successful op shot, you gotta just go for like a flick. And Corey hasn't been available to do that. So it just leaves Corey on this really weird island that he can't really find impact with.
If I'm TSM, I call a timeout here.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, with how their defenses have just been kind of trampled on, right, for a lot of these rounds, and then you're thinking, okay, you know, they're all, since we can't stop them like you're saying, and we're playing pretty much 2 on site. SR always used to have the read on wherever their defense is weakest, and even right now, right, they're able to see that, okay, they're leading towards B with the spike. There's gonna be 3 there. There's gonna be 3 there. But watch how they play A as well. The double push shot through showers, I should just signal to them that, oh, there's 2 here. Let's rotate over. It's easy, and it's just easy plans.
I feel like Shopify have set themselves up waiting for that tack timeout going into 2, but it never appeared. So the default setup instead. B-Dog are good to take down the only semblance of a Sentinel really that TSM has, and they're already starting up. Barely 15 seconds into the round, Ravish, already at a 4v5.
Spike's still in long middle, so they're deciding to wait to see what TSM does, though, and that's what we expected. They usually do put double push out, and there we go. Hayes goes for 1. So now the rest of SR do have to fall off. They know they can't peek this, but look how far Dazzle's made it. They could try to pinch them here. If Dazzle gets his, then they'll keep TSM interested. Only 2 there as well. On the other side, as Spike is waiting to move in. And Mitch is the only person that can try to stop this here. Oh, peeks out, has no idea. You can take both of them, Dazzle does. That's 2 more left from TSM.
And Shopify are just changing it up every round. We haven't seen Dazzle go for a work like that yet. And look how far he can push into the backside of B. Double shock darts go down. Sure, a little bit of damage against nature, but it's that snake bite on top of Mata's bullet. Helps out so much. And I think we've seen this story before, Ravish. Corey on the operator. Where have we seen this before? Oh yeah, the last like 5 rounds.
Corey has not been able to, unfortunately, like put up the pressure that we expect out of a Jet op, because they seem to be avoiding that site every single time. Like, it's crazy to me that SR has just managed to traps wherever he wanted to go. And finally, they get every single person on their side. Corey finally has to drop the op, but SR with a commanding lead. But DSM, though, considering how they've been saving and kind of moving back and forth, still looking to force up.
It's wild to me because Shopify from yesterday to today, on a macro level, are not doing anything different. They are conditioning that Showers player, this time being Corey, to hold that for the entirety of the round. It was Leviathan on nearest airport yesterday doing the same exact thing. And Shopify, like a cat playing with a little mouse they caught, just have it so under control. The real only big part of a non-control that Shopify has per round might just be the mid-round, just barely getting onto a site. And off this round now, they're expecting aggression from TSM, but it's just not going to happen.
Right, and I'm surprised that TSM themselves didn't push out. Although we can see over by B, right, it's a bit more of a different stack that we see in terms of by Garden. Whereas they were double there, and along with the one moved to the quarter by TP. But even right now, Shopify avoids all of that and just moves over to the other side. They're reading TSM so well, Max. It's genuinely impressive.
I love this. I actually love what Shopify is doing this match. This is, like you said, Ravish, unbelievably impressive now. The saving grace maybe for TSM in this potential retake is that Cosmic Divide. There's really nothing else beyond that in the Seekers that you can use to your advantage for the retake.
Spike planted.
You got a lot of off, but it is a save. And unless you manage to take one at the beginning, then health might be worth it. That's the first time we've seen the Shopify's gone in without losing anybody. Now Corey comes up with the flank gun still in his hand, can't take down 2. And Wobo's looking to be TSM favorite round and goes so wary so quickly. No more guns left. But there's two cornered inside of U-Haul. They can't push against them. And the spike is ticking. That ticking clock that continues to ring in their head. That TSM knows the one responsibility is being able to take it. Nature plays good bait. So two more people there. Moose swings out. One more. And the Moose is indeed free and goes where he pleases.
One enemy remaining.
And just
Last
like that,
round in the
most
half.
of the first half has already slipped by TSM, and we haven't seen that tack timeout. Have we? Did I just black out?
We haven't, you're right.
Yeah, we haven't. So where is it? And again, I think we have to go back to what we were talking about before we even came in the bind. The defensive prowess for each team has not been great over the last few days. And a lot of that could be because agent selection. It could be because of the drafting, all that different stuff. But regardless, though, TSM saving for maybe just using all their resources for the attacking side is really scary to me. You're putting all your eggs literally in a single basket.
And you don't want to do that. I mean, usually it's the most ideal thing to do, but...
At least get a carton.
Exactly. You got to be able to justify investments. You got to have, you know, the brown eggs on one basket, the farm fresh ones on the other, even the frame range ones in your hoodie.
True. I always like to dye the eggs. My favorite color was blue.
I like blue as well. Big fan of purple.
Yeah.
Person.
Have you ever had green eggs? Perhaps with
ham?
ham?
Can't say I have, Sam. I am, but what I think I do know is TSM. What's the plan? Don't show us something you can man, but because you got to be looking at this is your one last chance in the half. It's 9-3. That's not math. Nature goes down. That's 1 minus 5.
30 seconds left.
That's 4, and that's that. Orbital strike to go down with 2 more to enter. A lot of major swinging entrance, man. It's so sick. Doesn't even need anything more. So many alternatives from the side of TSM. They can't use it. The res might be good, but they need to do something. It's a 10-second spike goes down, and now we gotta see what TSM does.
Easier said than done, isn't it? Hayes is good for the entry going back, but again, trades on trades on trades for Beast. Nature and company, though, they do gain the advantage. One of the slowest rounds from Shopify thus far. It's Nature good for 3, and they end their half, possibly with a curse.
Entirely. We've seen it happen to them yesterday. And the 9-3 is, alongside the 8-4s, are pretty much what we experienced on so many of these games. If it's not a complete blowout, the result is this. Now remember, we have Ascent and then Haven after this. Ascent, TSM have looked indomitable. And SR though, not too bad on Haven as well. Probably the most interesting part, but this is the best of 5. TSM has to get this first pistol if they are to have a cleaner half than last time.
I would say pretty much all the pressure right now, at least for the early rounds, is on Corey. TSM in this whole tournament have been so good about these fast aggressions, like you said, but the entry potential and the space created for Corey has been not like anybody else we've seen. Even Mata didn't really blast pack entry onto a side too often in the half we just watched. So I want to see Corey do something a little bit different. And by the different, I mean different from Mata. Corey's been probably on that usual course right now, but the split push going into B is good. The only semi-sentinel that Shopify has is Moose trying to hold a fort. It has to be doing it blind. A Viper wall, a good flank. Vic is good for 1, and now it's suddenly a split push into a crunch from the enemy team. Shopify Rebellion, they're on the hunt. They're looking for anybody to take down as they try to entry in.
It's not just the cruncher, Max. It's that crunch wrap supreme.
Woo!
And you go ahead and get that with that local sauce on the side. 4v3 with them left. TSM. Spike going down, but it continues to devolve further. Team solo mid gotta do something. But look where the corner of the site. They can't actually play off of another. I needed to be there, but it's leaving Hayes in a 1v1. Knowing that he's there, he speaks out, sees one more. It's got to be just a question of delaying and moving, bobbing and weaving. Mata and hazed. It's gonna be the boy Adam to take it.
The play, the read that Shopify had to route themselves towards the flank behind all of TSM through market gives tell that, again, the lack of sentinels for both these teams is going to be so prevalent for at least the rest of this map. I hope we get to see more sentinels going to maps 2 and 3, but again, you had no Cypher for the tripwires for flank, no chamber trademarks, no Killjoy, whatever she can use, everything. None of that's there. You have to always be watching your back now as TSM, and you have no opportunities for mistakes anymore. This buy-up round, and I do consider it a buy-up with just stingers across the board and a single Spectre, 2 Spectres actually, is pretty much your last chance for bind. The slow approach yet again from TSM. And the tempo you can feel is a lot slower, even for what Shopify was bringing out last round.
Playing more default as well.
Yes, and Dazzle does spot one outside of Garden. But again, the utility is taking a lot more of a preference from what we've seen from TSM the rest of this tournament. It's less about gunfights and creating space, it's more so using the utility for what little info you can gain off of it for those gunfights.
TSM this time, though, they're the ones like not rushing into the site like we expected, but they know what the force up here too. They have to make this count, and they've chosen to take a stand right here, right now. It's the one lurking over towards the A site. And the big spot I just see SR just dumping their U to slow them down, but once this expires, TSM is looking at a 20-second exec. Is when things get tough. Hayes gets caught. And now things are forced at TSM's hand where they know they have to move in. Mara manages to get his, but it's a cross angle. As the rest of the team transpires to get out of the site, it's just 7 left. 7 with 7 seconds now to go. Will get the spike down, but he has no real time to reconvene. He doesn't have the orbs up either. It's just gonna be him and a heal, and now he's spotted. They know he's Jenny. But he's waiting for Vic to enter. He could be crunched, he could be stopped, But now it's just on boy Johan. But he gets outgunned. That's simply it. Against 2, there's not much more he can do. Shopify, 2 away from taking map 1 in his best of 5 finals.
And again, with that buy-up round, there's almost nothing left economically that TSM can do. Of course, we can't write them off just yet for this map. There's still 2 more rounds that Shopify need to win. But at this point, you know, essentially having however many rounds in a row towards the end of the first half, a single blip of TSM with a defuse to end that big point of the first half into now 2 more defuses. Shopify have their number. And when we see this all again, Bulldogs, Stingers, Spectres for TSM. What do you think, Bravish? Would you call it?
I don't know, man. I mean, I'm usually fans of the broken buys, the potlucks, right? Just the one we can find on the street. Right, that's what we're looking at right now. But bonuses for TSM, though, continue to look a bit worried across the board. No shots! An almost crucial duel, but inside showers of GMD and Koi looking to get clean and clean up themselves. Might at least find a space for himself, will slow them down. But there's 2 with 1 more person converging. It goes down to 3v3, no big odds to play with. TSM, they've never read it out more. They've never really get the spike on site more than this. And that's it. Papi GMD thinking, oh golly. Pure Bliss is here. He puts down the ult. It's 1v1. And it's Moose versus Guimon. It's Canada on Canada action. We have to see who has to fight for the Great White North.
30 seconds left.
I've never been really to Canada. I wish I had Canada references to bounce you off with, but
that's okay. It's gotta be looking at Quebec versus the rest. And that's why Quebec can't get their own country. Because Moose is there, blocking the border.
No. I'm learning so much about Canadian history through TSM. Why aren't they teaching this in history class?
It is essential learnings. Because for you see that since Sir Moose was there, He makes sure the country stays together once again. What a lad,
Match
what a
point.
Chad. And now match point for Shopify against TSM. It's been rough goings for a long time. And they've got to continue to play perfect valor right here. We were talking about a 9-3 curse, but it's still that 3 right now, Max. The TSM, they gotta do anything and everything they can to survive.
What a lad, what a Chad. Man, Ravish, things are looking bad for TSM. This is their true final shot right now. Maybe snowball a few more points on Bind. But if they can get one round, they can build up the economy to have something more than light shields. And if they can get another after that, then maybe, just maybe, they can fight tooth and nail, crawl up the sandy mountains to maybe an overtime. But when you play this slow, Shopify, they're prepped for it. The slow flow going over from Dazzle from A to B back to A. Over and over again between the two sites. The smokes go down, the 0 point in return. The Exodus, though, for TSM rotating back towards B. The crunch once again. We saw how this went on the pistol. Shopify's response was finding out the intel. Off that Prowler, no less, too, just like Pistol. Was able to rotate for a flank, but we're actually not seeing that from Shopify this time.
They're reading it, Max. They're reading it. Look at this. Just the fun seconds going down as well. They move one
actual
over
reading rainbow.
and play forward. It's so beautiful. They've done it once again. And here comes the Hunter Studio showstopper as well to boot. One more tag should be given. Make that a double tag as Moose takes them all down one after the next.
B.
TSM is fighting for their lives.
30 seconds
This first
left.
game, they know Ascent is next, but they want to show more so on Bind. And I saw they've had rough goings the past couple of days, many OTs. But this is the game I wanted to see. TSM is on site though, there's 2 of them there. The wave is about to go down. SR knows it just gets and there's a delay. As soon as they hear that noise, they're just gonna rush at them. And Team Solo Mid has no option but this. They're inside the bunker, but it's past 2,000. They gotta face the music. Seems like they don't like it. Shopify Rebellion going 1-0 in the grand finals of the Knights Freeze Out.
Shopify are singing a very
Defenders
different
win.
tune from even last night, where they went into near quintuple overtime against Oxygen Esports. They fought tooth and nail once again to get into the grand finals, and they are looking more refined and cleaned up than ever from what we had seen from the previous day of many different Bind maps. I want to give special props, Ravish, while we watch these eBay replays. I want to give special props to Moose.
Enemy remaining.
Moose, in the last time we had seen Bind come out, on Viper, dropped 1 kill in 12 deaths. And sure, the map right after was the aforementioned Icebox map where he dropped 32 afterwards. What doesn't matter. Moose has been snowballing and practicing. And again, it's conjecture. I don't 100% know. But Shopify have done their homework overnight. Even on Bind alone, they looked fantastic. The best Bind we've seen so far. And for TSM, they chose defense first. And we talked about how defensive maps have not gone well for a lot of these teams in Freeze Out, and I think now they're paying the price.
They say yesterday's history, Max. Tomorrow's a mystery, but today's a gift. And right now, that gift given over to Shopify is a small break and Bind. When we come back, we will have Ascent for you all. See you in a bit. Homies, welcome on back to the Knights Freeze Out. I, of course, am Ravishing Ravish, most ravishing man. You know, joined here, of course, by my main boy Keg, or of course, Max is like to call him. His 3 letters, all the same. However you mix it and bake it into a cookie. Max, Shopify Rebellion, phenomenal showing on Bind, but we got more maps to play.
Yeah, we have a lot more maps to see, and I gotta say, Shopify was a big question mark for me going into the first map because it was, again, a sort of more on the poor performance side going into yesterday. But today, Shopify looked great. There's no other way to put it. They looked phenomenal. There was no attacking rounds that we had seen where Shopify were in poor form at all. But again, we have to talk about how TSM started off on the defense and they chose to go there. The opposite can be said now for Ascent. Shopify themselves are going to be starting off on the defensive side, and even though it sounds like I'm singing the praises of Shopify, it might just be because of who starts where first. So we're going to have to see as Shopify starts on the defense how things are going to go, but you know what the most interesting part is going to be?
What's that?
I think it might be the agent select. Who is going to play what and where? Now, there's a little thing behind the scenes. We don't actually know who's going to be playing who. We have a rough idea maybe of the agents. We have, all of our historical records from yesterday. But keep in mind, if you're just tuning in, no team can use the same agent twice. And by that, I mean if one team uses Chamber, the other team cannot. And so, okay, if you want to use your Chamber, well, sorry, Shopify. You can't use it if TSM does. But hey, guess what? We don't have to wait much longer. There it is. Beautiful. The eBay agent select. I want to see. Ooh. Okay. So double controller from TSM. That's good. And then we have a single controller, but a cipher coming out from Shopify. I think that's a really good correction from what TSM... Well, okay. It's a really good correction about what both teams kind of neglected from the first map and not having a flank watch. Now, Shopify are going to be starting on the defense, so I'm thinking already, okay, that means most of Shopify are probably going to stick around for both A and B site and leave mid alone. What do you think?
Now, from my own presumptions, what you got to remember is that TSM is starting on attack.
Yes.
This map. And we've seen already that the attacking halves in general for a lot of these teams have gone very one-sided for themselves. TSM in general, I've spoken about a lot. Throughout this entire tournament on Ascent, they've looked phenomenal. In fact, their attacks have been not I wouldn't say clean, but ones that are just value the hyper-aggressive gun-type playstyle. They walk in, 3-person contact push, and they usually win out. And it has been a feat and a treat to watch. But against Shopify, I do not think they'll be able to execute through the same sort of means that we have witnessed. For now, though, we'll get to see a brand new flavor from both these teams. Remember, since this is a BO5, we got more game to play even after this, right? We could be looking at river sweeps, if possible, because there's still Haven and Breeze and Icebox as potential options. For now,
I completely agree.
Let's breed.
It's going to be interesting. I'm going to call it right now. I think we go to all 5 maps.
You know what? I would actually love that.
Yeah. I mean, our lungs are going to hurt by the end of it, but it's the best kind of hurt. Like, we're going to enjoy it. Oh, speaking of which, enjoying B-Dog, good for 2 already. Shopify have an explosive opening here. A 4K from B-Dog. It dazzles there to steal the ace. Okay.
That's the eBay flawless on the defense in the first round. Now, I wasn't looking a ton at what went down, but here's what I can tell you. Because it happened so fast. Yeah, because look, the Silver Dart, right, caught 2, and from there, TSM rushed in. And now before even that, she tagged a bunch of them. But SR just so happened to be Reaper there.
That's a great read.
Wow. Indeed.
Lord.
Oh, but this might be that. Corey's dead! Oh no. There's one more looking to move in. They can't take it up, down.
One enemy remaining.
Left, right. B-Dog has the whole compass on top of his wrist. It don't matter which direction you're chilling at. And it just takes Vix to get one more. Those have been 30-second 2 rounds, by the way.
What can we even say about those rounds other than B-Dog has just gone Super Saiyan? I mean, 7-1 now. Unbelievable. Just absolutely popped off.
I'm sorry. Did you say Super Saiyan? Like as if you're from the South?
I don't know. I've never seen Dragon Ball. I don't know anything about dragons. Or Dragon Balls. I don't know anything. I was a Sailor Moon kid. Even Galleon.
I'm gonna let this go. And we're gonna talk about the game, Max. That's what's gonna happen.
Jeez. So, already, Shopify are not playing at the same exact speed as they did the first 2 rounds. They read really well into where TSM was approaching, but even TSM themselves just went for a full push from a B site and first pistol, and immediately after they went for a huge A push. So TSM have already got a relative lay of the land about what they're expecting to see.
Here.
But at least then there's a little bit of contact. B-Dog on their, what should be their bonus buy, is going for the blades already, and if you're 7-1, you might as well. But that being said, the contact is made, and B-Dog is not finding those hits.
In fact, he takes some damage himself with Blade Storm. Could have been a really good way to start off around, but instead they get caught up by mid. The trip one is still there from SR, so they can't just push through fully. The smoke from the brim allows them for a bit more cover, but they have to get past trees first, and that's one way to do it. He still peeks out, but it can't take him down. He only has 2 health. And that's all of TSM. Well, 4 of them make their way into an actual site. That's the first time we'll see a plant on Ascent.
It's 4-4 already. A lot of the lay of the land has been put in TSM's favor. But that being said, door does break open. There's a 1 in TSM's favor, and B-Dog and company are looking for a way in. There's 2 below heaven. Nature's down to a single HP. Anything will take down Nature right now, but the Cyber Cage is good for the drop.
Gets in the cover with a high and low, managed to peek out. And that was beautiful, executed by the SR and Moose specifically, too. That placement in general, too, is so important because you're looking to be able to cover the rest of the site, and Shopify Rebellion are just going to defuse. GMD, they can't ping the spike. He doesn't know where to go.
Wow. Did GMD miss the audio cue? Or was it just the pings? Or was it both?
I'll be honest, I don't know. Because I know he managed to get 1, but by the end, he assumed if we likely kept shooting, he had 2 options, right? Because he probably gets some by the spray. But if he doesn't, the issue because he likely dies and loses the gun as well. So he chooses, well, save it and moves away. Which honestly isn't a bad call because you're not looking at a save again for TSM and how good the eco for them was last time. With the other ones you can get. Oh my god, that's so close. 1 more second. Hayes probably gets B-Dog.
I was gonna say, why is Hayes entering? But then I realized this is a 30 round coming on TSM. Controller now, utility gone outside of GMD's. Oh man, okay. Beautiful work there. Good paranoia and response. But Treadsub comes by and Mono might not realize how much space GMD has acquired.
He doesn't know. He likely didn't hear the actual TP because he's putting out his own flashes. So might have actually be able to crowd that. But instead, I think might have chose a safer play of moving down A long, giving up the space. Shocked out, but he's gonna small tag, and now comes to the 4v4 once again here at Max. If you look at the rest of TSM, they're all pretty much squished on top of the site. Mono once again, who's on the outside, has to make the first. He's now gone. He gets double peeked. And also with not any util either, moves again with the exact same case they had previously, but they can't drop down because all TSM are there, but they don't need to because from up top they're taking the shots, and Corey gets a thrifty.
A great Zenny thrifty at that there. TSM finally get around on the board, and that was lacking one of their 2 pivotal controllers too. I guess the name of the game that we're going to be expecting, probably for the rest of this half at least, is just unfiltered chaos. Literal chaos across the board. Any semblance of what you normally see in a competitive match, almost thrown out the window, but not completely. It's going to be a lot more of a mechanical, gunfight-centered kind of aura in the early and mid-game. And we kind of see that from TSM in a lot of the other matches before this, and it's a staple of their new attacking structure. But the way Shopify needs to respond against that is the #1 thing we need to look at. And right now, they were playing fire with fire in the beginning, but now someone like B-Dog, except for this wine position, mostly has slowed down.
Use the paranoia to gain small bits of space as well, too. B-Dog is all, should be smoked off instead he gets concussed, so that shot's gonna be a lot tougher to take, but they don't peek him in time. He can't just go up, but there's 1 more there. It should be an even trade, but B-Dog plays his life, and he managed to get, and he almost got out of fact, but Corey picks out the right time.
Meanwhile, on the other side, 2 large battles going on, one outside of A, but also the spike being held right outside B, and Dazzle's ready. This small little pillar of ascent, the only thing dividing themselves, and potentially a win and loss for Shopify. Double recon dart finds everybody, or at least in B main. And look at this, even though both were spotted outside, there's no LMGs, there's nothing on the other side, no Ares or Odins. Spring through the wall. 7 and company don't move.
30 seconds left.
Launching smoke.
3-4 as it continues. Showstopper, bro. I don't know how that didn't get him. That's crazy, and that's cap even. But look for the next. Dazzle to make the hole behind neutral, but it still has cover with Moose in the back. Spike is now dropped. There's 1 more. Moose gonna try to shoot at him, but inside the smoke tree survives. Does not have the spike. Moose just has to live here, and it should not be able to get this. 1 more switches over. And within seconds, TSM get the second round.
Stay safe.
This is already looking a lot more competitive than map number 1. TSM so far, they've gone for these defaults and they're finding a lot of utility, a lot of impact by taking these early round fights. And like I said, in going to that last round, a lot of it's been slowed down by Shopify on their end outside of B-Dog. But even discounting B-Dog there, and this 3-stack on B-site, I'm curious to see if Shopify are going to start leaning towards retakes as TSM keep trying to go for the same late or slow early game style. But already there's gunfights coming out. Outside of B-Name 2, we see the aerial shot through the small hallway. B-Dog takes the aggressive fight but loses it out. 7 again takes down B-Dog, only wielding a Marshall. The controller smokes in return means that there's no safe way to push in. I like what Dazzle's doing here. The shock darts could go down, but even then they don't connect. A big util dump, all wasted away. But the big thing they take away from that Ravish is that no spike was picked up. That was never a dedication to B to begin with.
Didn't
Just
need
doesn't
to
look for where B-Dog was.
Yeah, they didn't need to do it at all because they decided that with a start feeling confident that they were going to instead play with the early peak and see them probably get down 1. And for the first time in a long time, TSM is moving on to a site with a man advantage. A crucial play and one that SR is looking to possibly punish. Sheriff in hand though for Dazzle. And he's gone. Yeah, that's gonna be tough considering he's right there. That's one more to leave as they're up by heaven. And that's TSM. Get the eBay flawless.
That's what we were expecting to see from TSM on their attack on Bind. And again, there was such a big discrepancy in rounds going into the second half that a lot of the time teams just don't have that economy to really get things going. But when the foot goes into the other shoe, I guess, you know, things do turn out differently. 3-3 now between both teams. And I'm looking at the lockdown, I'm looking at the maybe response for the orbital strike and the Hunter's Fury. When we see these ult comes down, I think it's gonna be in the response of that other ult coming by and just canceling each other out. But for the most part, it's up to the onus of Shopify right now to use those ultimates correctly and make sure that they don't squander it away, especially with how fast TSM are approaching a site.
No, yeah, they gotta take time, like you're saying, but some big things to play for currently. You know, with the op has been nice as he gets spotted by the Prowler. And so now 7 feels confident enough to move in with the rest of his compatriots. Lockdown available though, so that should be the ticket to the clearing out the site. And I imagine it does get used. As I said, looking towards B, but only B-Dog is there. There's 2 floaters down mid. But he's holding strong at the angle. Dash still also available as well. A lot of options. TSM are taking their time. The patience that both these teams have right now. They're both meditating on the site here, Max. They're breathing. They're moving with the water. It's like Avatar. Swimming. Here it comes. B-Dog. One shot where? Second one taken with just a shorty. And TSM are on the site.
Wow. A good pop flash out there, though, for the entire execute, but TSM, again, they've only lost 1 body, and that's the lockdown we were expecting to see completely gone. Nightfall comes by, and again, full range control for TSM on the site. Going up to Nature now, with his Haunt coming down. Dazzle forced away, does find the fight. Nature falls, and again, 1 body less. Hayes looking for this a very aggressive angle.
It's a beautiful one-way as well from Hayes, too, who has all this cover, but now as one more comes in, the gravity will should be able to lay it down. Yes, it does. The peek out, but Dazzle's simply just better at that point. And leaving Corey. And we got to know if Corey gonna be able to do it. No, unfortunately not. This is not your favorite anime. Moose takes him once again. SR go up.
Whew. Well, sure, TSM might be fighting evil by moonlight, but they're certainly not winning things by daylight at times, though. That was a really good round. But here's the thing. Here's the big takeaway, though.
Sure.
There is a silver lining for TSM.
Oh.
Both members of Shopify used Hunter's Fury and Orbital Strike. That means the lockdown essentially can go down for free. And TSM can use that ultimate wherever they want, assuming it's on a site. And what do you have that can test that? Sure, there's shock darts. Yeah, there's fragment grenades. But KJ was just buffed. And that lockdown's not going to be destroyed by just that utility alone. It would take both to do it.
They got time.
It's making me nervous.
Yeah, they've got time though right now. They've got. I see the TSM has, you know, managed to kind of adapt to this
You should run.
slow style and A lot of time we were talking about last round when they were thinking that they would likely go off, but Nightfall's good enough.
You are divided.
And even the wall too was put up for all the extra control. More has to play his life, sneaks his way in. That's a flash of point, not able to get anything sadly. In fact, does damage himself in the wall. Through this,
Spike planted.
TSM get a free plant, 5v5 max.
Full site control again. Last time they had done so, they were down a body and they were going down one by one in the post plant. Every ultimate has been used now. Only B-Dog with the Blade Storm reigns supreme, but again, can't say supreme just yet, I suppose. We don't know how these are gonna go, but the operator could be sacrificed in this big fight.
They gotta find info on where they're holding. And they certainly gonna choose to move in with the flash. And the Molly's going down. Hayes immediately with the peek out. That's two given away, because look at the way the TSM have all those sightlines in front of them. SR is walking blind. It'll only take two. The TSM, every single angle covered. No one gets in, nobody gets out.
Every single ultimate, besides what Mata has now for that null command, was used in the last 2 rounds. But it was more expensive than that. B-Dog lost the operator and lost the Blade Storm in the same exact round. That's almost all the big impact that you look for when you select the jet in game. Completely dismantled. And now it's a full Thrifty. Besides Dazzle with that single stinger, Shopify Rebellion are going to lose their lead unless they play aggressive here.
I mean, they can't. They're on the safe. Ingers got class. They can do like maybe get 2.
Enemy tagged.
2. Get the way.
Yeah, things are not looking so great right now in the camp of sure Shopify. They've been able to even things up 4-4 though. No spike has been picked up yet, and no mid control either. The Cypher util I predicted would be mostly in mid, and so far I've been wrong. Outside of A though, very little utility has been placed around by Shopify at all. And the response here is a slow walk towards Catwalk. Haunt goes down, immediately destroyed. Anna's ready for the response though. No commands there. Corey's been so good about those Vandal shots, but this time not so much. Only a few connections. And there we go. The spray comes through. Opening execution. But even then, there hasn't been much map control in the favor of TSM. Off of a Thrifty round, no less. They do have an extra body above though. So not all of us lost for either one of these teams. There are 30 seconds left. Nothing with Sheriffs and a single stinger like we mentioned. Holding down B site. You have to watch.
He could do it, but he gets shot to the last second. Now with him falling as well, it leaves just 10 more. And the 5v2, the TSM feeling mighty confident, naturally so, as they can easily get the spike down. And now for SR, it's just a matter of seeing how many guns they could possibly get out of their hands. Currently where they're at might not be much, but considering Vic has no idea Hayes is there. Hayes in a perfect position to just get down Vic and move over. But he hasn't been able to spot him.
Last player
Vic
standing.
spotted now though. Unfortunato. And now it's just the Moose Man. And that'll be all.
I was really hoping Moose could find impact with that flank. It was a good flank too, but it's kind of like, it's like almost like an I Spy puzzle. You know, you check everywhere, you see nothing, nothing there, nothing there, nothing there. So then your natural conclusion is to check behind you just in case. But Shopify, something that we didn't really get to see a lot in map 1 is a tactical timeout. And I think now that Shopify have just begun to start losing their lead, this is the time to change things up on a fundamental level. And by fundamentals, I do mean like that macro, big brain level. Obviously, the fundamentals of all the players are exceptional, but the strategies that have been employed for both this last map and now are starting to be bypassed by TSM. They're reading into it. And Shopify have yet to find a response now that both teams have rifles.
Considering the back and forth we witnessed between both these teams, I am just impressed, I would say so far, by the way TSM has been, been resilient so far and kind of adapted to Shopify's pace and on SR themselves, right? Because it seems as though after every timeout, after every round, they've gained better understanding of how TSM wants to play this. I'll do more on this further as we continue to try to recognize on how else TSM does play the map. For now, it's been the consistent 3-2 splits, and the mid control hasn't necessarily been the biggest of point of factors. But we'll see what SR decides to move forward, especially with Mata not being there. They put the stars there as well. Shouldn't be able to spot anybody. They clear close. They're moving down mid, but one more there. So Pizza, alongside Market, got that going on. 7 heard that jump though.
And Spade trying to bring that line of sight back over towards Mata's direction. Hoping that 7 doesn't check that Pizza angle. And even if they do, there is that dark cover, sure, but Vic is there for the spray on the other side. A triple potential contact inside mid. A great adjustment there to hold the line and not go for a direct fight. But TSM, they saw the attack timeout too. Oh, hold on. 7 falls. The possible lurk maybe from mid. That 2-1-1 split. It's now down to a 2-1.
Stealing sight.
So 1 falls. Exit towards A. A great read again from Shopify to hold all of Cypher's utility all over the map. But no, it's Moose Falls.
Wait, Vic actually didn't get him. That's so unfortunate because that actually could have been the way that they actually locked down the rest of the round. But
30 seconds.
tragically so, now he falls, and the 2 that survived at the beginning, the 2 that managed to get one of their own. One of the last ones left alive. The door gets closed on him as well. Shopify will look to be a good read, but unfortunately transgressed into the unfortunate ending that we see currently today. And TSM, for the first time in a long time, will take a 2-round lead.
And that was off of TSM losing the opening pick too. No flank watch util. No nothing. Everybody else on TSM just pushed and pushed. Hunkering together onto A site. And they found that kind of control. It didn't help that Moose also went down in that initial fight on the exec towards A. So all that Cypher utility, all the tripwires, useless. And Mata also saving, effectively useless. That just needs to survive for a few microseconds and manages to do so. But again, losing those rifles now is not what you want to see.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, bro. Honestly.
Yeah. Unlucky, really.
Yeah, because you're hoping you at least manage to save one more. You get the 2, you're okay. You're not in too bad of a spot. You can try to contend against what's about to come at you. But nonetheless, SR looking to adapt now. They can slow anchor on B.
Oh, a gamble.
And they're 4 stacking A, yeah. Back on the save and look to move in. Only getting the 1-for-1. Mata comes out on top.
Oh,
They actually win all that. The spike is now gone. Look, the flank is well coming in too. They have all that under control. That's free guns. They could do
that's a
this.
free spike.
You're right. That's even better.
Cloudburst goes down. Hayes can't see what's on the other side. Just in case someone's catwalk, that's going to be a dedication to the turret. Flashlight
That's
comes
the
down.
Yeah, they don't even see anything at all. They got neural theft. Shopify get a thrifty.
Oh, another Zenny thrifty. Let me tell you, you got to see on the other side of those Cloudbursts because that was beautiful to see. A great gamble stack. But here's the problem with that. You can't gamble stack every round. It's going to be red 2-2 again from TSM. What Shopify needs is one more round. There's one more round this half. And again, we've talked about the discrepancy and how you're put at a disadvantage this tournament by starting off on the defense. Shopify have broken the records that we've seen in the last few days. They've gotten more than those 4 defensive rounds, but if they get one more and bring it 6-6, I don't know how TSM's going to react on their own defense.
Oh, this is actually so huge. Locked in a corridor, smoked off gravity. Well, the use of the util, man, it's like looking at the entrance of Dante's Inferno, but instead the devil comes out and socks you in the face like, yo, boy, where you think you going? Nowhere. Damn.
What do you
Now
do,
it's just 7 left. That's it.
7's the last one alive. Maybe a pseudo timeout to talk to the team to be like, hey guys, 6-6. Really need these rounds going to the second half. And as that sky smoke goes away, there's no reason not to take the fight. But the shot misses! And Cosmic good for 1.
That's unfortunate, but it's fine. Because
Switching
what was a
sides.
2-round lead is now a 6-6 half.
So the real question is now, if you have a 6-6 half with agent drafting, what is that TSM defensive response going to be? TSM already learned their lesson that starting off on the defense did not work on bind. So now the second time around, they're starting on the defense themselves, again, in the second half. They have a lot of defensive utility to work with. I'm talking both controllers. You have Seven's utility with Killjoy. You even have a bundling up double pairing of Corey's paint nades on top of the C's that nature could bring out. There's a lot of util that TSM could use to their advantage just to slow down Shopify. And that was their fatal flaw on bind.
Now TSM decides to take much more aggressive angle. Nice shot by nature. Easy first given away, so now SR gotta play things a lot more carefully. There's still one more person there, but they know they can't exactly just moving past that, using the camera in between just small intervals, waiting while the rest of SR, they had their poking prod around A, they didn't find nothing there either, but also TSM's defenses are there, so SR has some choices to make.
They're down a body too. Still have potential to find info. A lot of space creation. Bear Skeleton's still there, but Seven's there for the strafe off the Cyber Cage. That's so good! Blinded Moose takes down nature. And there's no one left for B. A great entry. And now TSM are the ones without one. They're down a body.
I mean, we did mention most of TSM's defense were focused around A, right? Towards tree, to one side. And so SR managing to get to there is crazy, especially because TSM, especially nature, have the same angle the entire time. Was confident enough playing with the turret. Cage does enough work. That's why Cypher right now might just be OP, but look for the rest. They have to clear up Boat Hospital. Look at where they're all stalling and selling. Beat up has to be good to this. Looks like peek one more, but they overpower them on site. And now this is Moose. It's 6 health. I do not know how he's going to try to delay this. The wall bag isn't that great. They can just defuse, and they're gonna do so. TSM get the pistol.
Wow. That was a pendulum swing of a round. First, it went very devoutly in the favor of Shopify, then back into TSM, then back to Shopify, and then back to TSM again. And now with a small lead. I want to highlight something right now. It's GMD, Gimond with that Phantom, and Light Shields to boot. I wouldn't say it's a glass cannon, but when you're fighting up against Stingers now on that second round, if this backfires heavily, that's going to affect TSM for rounds to come.
C'est très bien, mon ami. But let's see how they go from here. We're trying to look back and forth. My man saying bien ici. Come on down to moi site. Easy from here though. It's not bad for Corey, but look at that 7 right now. The boy Johan. Kage got 2. So many more there. Has to reload. Almost gets 3. That's 3. By the end of it, that's what's better. It's okay. He stays alive. TSM. The bonus was there. That was the force with Shopify as well.
We're the best.
What a play. What a
Any
save.
of you forget that.
Wait, the Phantom wasn't picked up. I mean, it was a great round from TSM, don't get me wrong, but the Phantom, it was lost in the process, and Corey didn't even need it to get that 3K. Does return again. The buys are still a little wonky from TSM, though. But so far, things are looking good. Breaking the norms. 2 defensive rounds in a row here. Shopify, they're forced to go for another Thrifty. But just like what we had seen towards the end of the first half, a bit of a gamble stack here. Off that one way, GMD good for 1, grab well to help. And there's no response. Shopify disengaged, just waiting for the util to disappear. Dazzle's already low on HP. Down a body too.
They could go there right here. There's a side, but instead of being the nade to do so, one up top, so they'd be good for just that.
Remaining.
Gonna leave 4. I mean, if Moose gets 1 more, that's not too bad of an eco. But I just gotta try to guess where the rest of them are while he kind of trots around the side, thinking maybe he could catch one straggling, but they know what the spike is. So this is Moose's little adventure.
It's like a spin-off movie.
Shopify Rebellion. Only Moose. Yeah, great plot so far. Remember the plot where, Moose was chilling by heaven and then he swung onto 2, somehow got a transfer on both their domes, and then suddenly the round was very savable, would have been crazy, right?
I heard they filmed all 5 of
30
Moose's movies at
seconds
once.
left.
I think so. I think they actually filmed Moose live in action and in game at the same time. That's
Unbelievable.
one for Moose.
That's a good attempt. 6 to 9. I mean, again, TSM 3 in a row. It's a struggle. It's a struggle right now, and Shopify, they've yet to find a way to properly entry onto a site. They are able to, of course, but in the process of entering, they always lose one.
Placing sentry.
And it hasn't been clean. And a lot of the time, especially on that buying map, we've been seeing Shopify go for these very slow execs. And TSM playing so upfront and aggressive, like they did in that previous map, are making it work so much more effectively here. They're expecting the slow burn. Oh, I like this adaptation though.
Might not be as slow as anymore though.
Yeah. It's a small caravan towards mid, but it's read into by 7. Gory and company, good for 1. Mata's taken down.
He got more here, Max, because now with the rest of it, they have them all there. Showstopper. He dodges it. Oh, but he can't get the kill. It all falls apart so fast. The forma moving through A, the caravan gone, derailed even off the tracks. And now TSM up 4, looking to close out Ascent in a couple more rounds.
I mean, I'm going back to what we said before. I think this goes to all 5 maps. TSM are breaking that mold again. I was really expecting to see Shopify take that early lead back in those pistol rounds in the early buy-ups, but no. TSM are winning off these reads alone, denying even a mid to late game. It's again, Shopify, they're just struggling to get onto a site because again, this is another read from TSM. They've read into the fact that Shopify, they failed to find B, they failed to find mid, so now a crunch towards A might be the move, and there's a double contact waiting outside. The one way is there, and B-Dog with a blade storm is ready to go in. The grapple stops him.
For a couple of seconds though. Considering watch the lights go by, the flash used to entry. It'll just be a 1 by the end of it, but Shopify once again on the save. Only so much they can do with a couple more of these shots, right? Managing to maybe get more legs. No more domes, so sadly. Hazed. Using. Just clean transfer. One after the next. We'll clean up the rest of Shopify in front of him. This is a crucial round for SR.
How many 4Ks have there been from TSM this half? 3, right?
I think 3, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's impressive. A lot of these rounds have just ended from a complete melting against Shopify Rebellion. But they're gonna keep trying. And they have their full rifles again. This is their last attempt. If you lose out with the economy you have right now, those rifles are gone. You're forced to eco or even thrifty into the next. That's again 6 to 12. This is the last stand. And with Vic going down immediately, it may very well be the nail in the coffin. Corey swings out again.
This might be it, the beginning of the end right now for Shopify on Ascent. We said the entire time how phenomenal TSM has looked on this map throughout their entire tournament start. And in the reason for that, the second probably even used B-Dog, kept chopping up any more logs.
What?
Because he was in logs, right? That's the thing. But it's just Mata left though. All right, now Mata, what you gonna show it to us? I know it's 1v5, but this is one of those where your teammate says, I've never seen you lose these. It's straight clean, nothing else, one after the next, bop, bop, boom. Yeah, spike in hand, but he doesn't know the GMD is right behind.
A great eBay teammate is coming out now from TSM. 6 to 12, the buy-up doesn't work. And you think that might be the end of it? No, there's a cosmic divide on the other side, and seeing how TSM are playing so aggressively on their defense, we're probably gonna see GMD's Into the Shadows brought out too.
What is Into the Shadows in French?
I barely know French to begin with. My French teacher was born in Brooklyn, New York.
I'm gonna guess Donde está la biblioteca. That's how you say Into the Shadows.
Je m'appelle Gag.
That's it. That's good. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I worked really hard.
Boss back in for SR. Black doesn't catch nobody close, but they gotta be able to just get past Clergy Group, so Molly doesn't get blocked or either, but instead will be sprayed in the back. Basic match point, SR. Turn things around. Managed to get out of sight finally.
Three left alive for TSM. It's not over just yet. Even with lesser weapons right now, Shopify are holding down the line. Have full B control. A lot of singular context coming through. Corey on a single HP.
He jumped on top. There's not the obvious spot. But they should know he's somewhere there. And they choose to go past the smoke because either way, they can't see one another.
Enemy remaining.
But now as they're all moving in, everything becomes clear. Just leaves Guimont. And now, he gets spotted, gets tagged, and Mook's just trying to take him. 1 for 1? See, he doesn't get the better of him again, but Mook still falls, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's okay, it happens. But GMD was even denying the ability to go for exits. Corey, again, I just want to highlight really quick, completely different topic. 23-9. Finding so much of that, not even entry potential that we predicted seeing. It's been mostly these just defensive swings that are coming out and blindsiding Shopify. But this is Shopify's opportunity to find, again, the counters of those swings. If TSM's going to go aggressive every round, hey, you know what? Logic would mean you got to counter pick it. But hey, gamble stack possibly once again from Shopify. Instead, though, it's that crunch lurk again. 4-1 split. Flash out goes down mid. Maybe trying to sell that bait towards B. Everybody else is making that slow crawl back over the tree, and no one's holding the double contact this time except for Hayes.
They've
But
got
he's
to
only
get
one
5
man.
rounds in a row. They've got to get so many, but it's all Hayes once again. Using those old man hands and prowess. They've got no idea.
Down.
I got to beat the corner against Guimont. He might not be able to do it. He keeps away, but at what cost?
Defenders
The
win.
Molly will get him. He'll live to see the body fall. That's 1-1 at the end of it all.
I mean, I gotta say, Shopify, they looked really good going into the second half, but it was just a complete shutdown from TSM. Their defensive side, once again, broke the mold of what we've been seeing from the quarterfinals up to now, where they won almost unanimously on their defensive rounds. And if that's what we're gonna expect to see, that means the rest of these maps into this grand finals are going to be a complete unknown of what we should expect, not only as commentators, analysts, anyone behind the scenes, but even the viewers back at home. We have no idea. This could be a literal 50-50. And luckily, though, there's some time for Shopify to clean things up.
And we hate what we've seen from both these sides. TSM's come out on top on having quite a lot throughout the tourney. And on the other for Shopify, though, that's what they fell previously to Oxygen. And right now, it's their chance to be a comeback as they did on by all entirely possible. Both these powerhouses looking to take the lead. And the Knights freeze up. You can find out who gets the next up after the small break.
Welcome back, everyone. We're up to map 3 of the grand finals in a best of 5 between Shopify Rebellion and TSM. I have good news and I have bad news. The good news is the tournament goes on, but the bad news is Shopify are going to be starting on the defense of this map. And when they played yesterday against Oxygen Esports, Ravish, I want you to take a guess, unless you've already looked and seen, but even people back at home, take a wild guess. How many rounds do you think Shopify got against Oxygen on Defense Haven?
45.
45 rounds? Ooh, so close. You're off by just a few. 43. No, I'm just kidding. It was 2 rounds.
Damn.
2 rounds.
Damn. Well, that's a different number that I was expecting personally, but it seems as though that my predictions are not up to speed as of right now. But here's what I can tell you. Firstly, the fact that you said good news, everyone, without doing the impression is honestly impressive.
I didn't even think of that.
Because here, you know what? I'll go ahead and just try to redeem it for you. Good news, everyone. That's just my best professor from Futurama. Either way, what matters
Great
right
show.
now is that Shopify and TSM 1-1, both very different looks, but it seems on one side it was Shopify with a phenomenal bind map, and TSM making things even on the defensive half to looking even better as we got over to Ascent. And
No,
it
hey,
seems as
well-
though these sides will be deciding a lot of it.
Oh, well, okay. Things are already looking a lot more better for Shopify because when they played against
Lot more
Oxygen
better.
yesterday, they brought out a Neon. And now, look, not a knock against Neon, but I mean, just bringing out kind of a wild card pick like that, we were expecting to see going forwards in the tournament, like more Yorus, more Neons, but I think maybe a little bit more, not nervousness, but like making sure you play more safer compositions, despite the agent drafting, has come into prevalence here. And we don't see a Neon from Shopify or really anything too wild from either team. I mean, I guess in the modern day, Chamber might be more of a wild pick here because he just got nerfed. But regardless, these are two compositions that you probably wouldn't bat too much of an eye of if you saw it in regular contention. I mean, you don't have a Breach or any mobility agents on the side of TSM. The best thing you have is that Omen. That's something that might hurt TSM's attacking side. But again, the big storyline here is focusing on the defensive prowess.
Exactly, because both sides' defensive halves in general have proven to be very favored towards the ones that manage to get it. Maybe both of them are the second half teams, or maybe I'm just guessing what's about to happen until we actually manage to get in the game, though. But until we do, it'll be just left up to question marks and nothing more, my friend. From the comps we've seen between both of these, though, from what I will say is that on the side of TSM, it is pretty standard, except the fact that there is not a single duelist on Haven. So that's where I'm like, I see. But on the side of Shopify Rebellion, they get the Raze, they get the Breach and a Fade and a Jet and a Chamber. So they get double duelists on their side, which is, I'm thinking like, yo, that's crazy. So now we're going to see more than likely a whole different look, especially considering Shopify starting out the defense. So how we going to contend? Hey.
Decisions on both sides.
Lead to precision collision.
Yeah, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I've been trying to think of a Futurama quote this whole time on the desk.
Here's one. Whoop, 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 whoop.
Why not Zoidberg?
Yeah, that's. I feel like to do Zoidberg, you have to have just the hands in front of your face is fluttering.
Oh, true.
Either way, instead there are no crabs in this game, but simply just hermits who choose to stay on their sites. And right now, no one's being a hermit so far. They're all chilling. Everyone's coming out of their shell. Double push out down long. Some Shopify as well. The rest of TSM still telling us spawn, likely expecting this to happen. And it's got to be on the boy 7 to start it off. This guy's been playing Chamber for months at this point, adapting the Sentinel role, now more so. But nobody's found just yet. B-Dog is chilling.
Yeah, just biding time, waiting. A bit of a cold war outside of A lobby to C, but it's getting very fiery and hot on the other side of B. Aftershock goes down, removes that spacing, and now Chamber making that move. Might be able to find something towards A lobby, but it's 7. Watching two different angles at once, has no info at all, but what to expect on the other side of both these pillars. B-Dog's trying to go for the escape and has the read.
The timing by the end is great.
Here.
As B-Dog barely plays his life. Corey himself, the jump shot, looking for one more. Gets Corey. Finishes off what his teammate could not. Now the one being gone, you gotta look at the rest of the team. Hayes plays a beautiful lurker. And comes all the way back around. The fact that we got this double sentinel too is crazy right now. And Hayes is not even on smoke to something even wilder. I remember seeing Hayes on Haven. Hayes on Haven playing Jet 2 days ago. But while the things have of course happened, B-Dog gets the spike down, good trade. And they will be able to do so with 10 seconds left.
3v2 though. Shopify again have to go for a retake. Somehow that headshot doesn't connect. 7 though has that redemption to the hands of nature. Trades on trades, and TSM win the first attacking round, break the seal of Haven.
Jason start things off in a solid way. Every single time we've seen them get the first pistol as well, we do naturally expect Shopify to actually go for the force. Both times, both sides have on Ascent. But this time, they're playing about there, yeah, choosing to chill for a little bit. Not a bad call, I find. Especially if you're looking at Haven as well, your spread so thin, the defense. Being able to force up, you can't really play super aggressive either, unless you truly gamble stack and it pays off. And right now, they are doing so. Similar setup they had previously, but this time it is a Sky to start things off. No bird to go out though. It's just a clean shot from 7.
Great redemption from the end of last round, but he's the scapegoater too. It might not matter. 7 takes down Mata. Still the spike in hand. Rendezvous like it's nobody's business. The floating Cypher rotating back over towards A site, but there's nobody there. He's now directly in the line of fire for the rest of TSM. Dazzle. Shorty's discovered. Seas goes down. A great chance to use that util. Having good for 3. On track for the ace.
Teleport's ready.
He's stuck for now. That's all.
One enemy remaining.
We just enter it. Just the confidence of everything with everything they have. And hope they can right click somebody. And right now ain't nobody getting caught here, Max.
Even just delaying the flawless would be something. Removing some guns from contention away from TSM. It's better than nothing. But you just have a classic. There's no reason to say here. That bonus. And even then, it's an eBay flawless, and things have looked so good for TSM. Albeit 2 rounds in. But I want to see what the rifles will look like for Shopify. And this is what I expected to see. When Shopify struggled on Bind yesterday versus Oxygen. Actually, let me take that back. When Shopify Rebellion struggled against every map on Oxygen yesterday, B-Dog would bring out the ultimate glass cannon operator. And this operator outside sewers did find a lot of impact before. So I'm hoping to see maybe there will be contact mid-round, since maybe TSM are reading into that. There's not a single morsel of attackers towards the A side lane of the map. All towards C, yet to be contested.
They saw a couple of legs go by, so they're seeing it's gonna be some pitter-pattering on the flight. Vic manages to get out before you, and eventually does have to fight though. He's okay for now, takes a bunch of damage that sees. I think it'll scare them off. They're leaving, Max.
Do you see what I see? If this
see?
is a big rotate back over to A, then B-Dog's already set up and ready.
Yeah, I know. He's right there. He's Jay chilling. But instead they choose to go B instead of like a smarter play to try to intercept any sort of flankers they might be there, or try to re-hit from garage as well.
And this re-hit towards garage might be the best move here, whether they know there's an operator on the board or not. It's just a slowdown now. Waiting for Shopify to make that next move as TSM, 1 quadrant, make their way through garage. Dark cover goes down. Vic unaware that this double contact might not work. Gets headshot down, and Dazzle's there for the trade. Question mark? Yes, he is.
Another Moose takes it, but
One
cannot
enemy
by the
remaining.
end find Hayes. Luckily, Dazzle's there, clean things up. And Shopify find a round on their bonus, losing 2 albeit, but it's a good read from the beginning, doing solidly on a C by being able to deny the first entry from TSM, and also reading the play from the re-hit from garage.
And that operator never had an appearance at all in that last round. As far as we know, TSM should not be aware of B-Dog's weaponry. And that means this sewer play again could be devastating to shut down the entry. TSM, they struggled in that early round towards C, so if they can go towards A, this could be a really explosive beginning. B-Dog doesn't engage. Plays it safe. 7-2 has an operator, and yet there's no one on the other side. They still don't know about B-Dog's awareness.
Oh no! A unfortunate whiff, which loses and causes them to fall off of A immediately. They see and are able to understand the push coming in with the blinding light, but the way the beak is out sewers right now, 7 staying back and watching it alongside Hayes. The rotations are coming in. They're waiting for anybody to look to walk in as of right now.
So 3 seconds. A fault line. Just about ready as well. So much line of sight
Mata?
denial. Mata.
Spike down A.
Moose makes his way over, sees another. Oh, he trades it away. But it's gonna be the boy Adam. 1v2, has the flash. Looking to take it. Nation has to fall off though. And remember, this is their buy up as well. TSM will be forced onto a save. If they do lose, this is Spikes right on that ramp, and he's tucked into a corner. All he has is that
30
haunt.
seconds left.
He's 1 away from getting the nightfall. If the ultimate is online, this is very doable, but as right now, he's got double peek it. And it's not happening. Vic brings it home.
That was such a devastating beginning for Shopify too. You would think losing the op and then eventually maybe a fast push towards the site would be the end for Shopify not being able to retake. But that was such a good prowess there of just playing it slow, using utility, and taking those 1v1s. I was really impressed with Shopify that last round, but you're completely right, Ravish. This is down to a thrifty again. A bit of a save from TSM. some light shields on the board, sure, but even then, there is one saving grace, and that is the tour de force. I can't say it like you can. I tried practicing.
It's okay. It's fine. You know, I respect the attempt. I'll just lean into the accent just with the tour de force. Right? It's here the first. That's just stupid. Either way.
My bad.
That's fine. You're doing great.
Tour de force. Yeah.
There.
But regardless, though, this Nightfall is gonna be huge if it does come out. On a small site like B, it might, even if it is a thrifty.
Triple stack around B. The rest of TSM looking for ways to enter, but like, you're looking to see if things get out some early util instead. They've got a lot of time. The rotation would be imminent if possible. Currently, not able to spot anything, but the inch much closer to the gun barrel might actually give away 7.
Oh,
They're
it doesn't
playing it
yet.
safe, yeah. And the flash there too. Oh, yeah, and that's 1 to peek in. So I got a couple of choices to make as to how they go. That's the first bit of use online. Flash out there as well. They're not holding strong. The second shot, unfortunately, also wins again. And they cannot take more.
30
See, there we go. TSM, just like that. I'll move away. Looking to A.
It's a mad dash over to A now. TSM looking to find whatever space they can. As long as they can group up, maybe find and collapse down on these small connectors like where Mata's at, they might have a chance to find a body advantage. They could pick up weapons here, and Mata, completely blind,
10
has the
seconds
potential
left.
guiding light, may just drop down.
Spike
Choosing not
planted.
to. Spike now underway. TSM gets more money for the round.
Like we're saying, Nightfall is still there too, but so is neural theft. Now, let's pay attention to a lot as to where TSM is holding, right? There is one, of course, looking towards all the way at the back door. A looking like they come around by long, but we're gonna see how they can actually move into the Science Dazzle and B-Dog making their way in 2 by 2. Corey holds down Heaven, and now he has backup with Hazed. But how will the rest of it go?
enemy
They're
remaining.
deafened. They find them, and B-Dog makes them be gone.
Oh, what a good defuse. But even then, right? Shopify have lost so much weaponry in that round, where TSM, they started things off with 1 ultimate and otherwise just stingers. Sure, they didn't get to pick up any of those weapons, but now the money's been removed. B-Dog does get to keep the op, which is a good sign of life, but otherwise, look at that. Mata and Vic, what are they gonna choose? Yes, they can buy up, which is good. But I'm looking at Dazzle's money at 650. If this is a poor round again for Shopify, we're gonna be looking at potentially another thrifty. Even B-Dog have to downgrade utility and almost shields. They keep up the par with the rest of the team.
It's the same thing with TSM too, because even on their side, right? They're pretty much 1 bad round away from also being forced on a save. So for both of these sides, it could be a progression of leading the 2 rounds in a row. And I want to see B pick at the pace here a little bit. It's been tough so
7.
far, and 7 is just so damn good, man.
There were some question marks with 7 coming onto this roster and his performance early on, but I gotta say, consistently throughout this tournament, I love 7 and what he's been doing so far. That being said, though, he still survives, but Hayes doesn't. Not even on controllers this time around. The Killjoy falls. Everyone else forced to rotate, and again, Shopify, we talked about the economy and how ping pong, in the words of the great Ravishing Ravish once said, it has been. And so far, again, a divide of 2 to 1. Shopify only have 2 left. The Seekers could be a great benefit here to see where that final execution could come in from. But with TSM so spread out, I'm not sure how useful that will be until they collapse onto a site.
They're still faking over by A. Being nature there, although he's gone, but they'll see us right away after all by C. That's the first ping. There's
30
still
seconds
1
left.
more, but they will be able to get the complete setup as a spike then falls. We're on to C. The ticking continues. Maybe Moose could actually have such a big flank here. He actually managed to get them, slows things down, and sees the Boombot go forward. So now he knows there's a possible sandwich option.
player
GMD
standing.
catches the timing on Moose. So no more sandwiches, because with just 1 piece of bread, that's a taco. And I don't think SR wants any more tacos here. That's 1 taken by
gone.
Mata. No flashes available. This is big. The second might be taken. No. Corey's in the house, baby. Check it out.
They're going to scatter from my stuff. Super
Man,
easy.
at least 7 gets the op back. A lot of ults on the board. But look at that economy again. Shopify, like 90% of their rounds have been saves and thrifties. They have not been able to juggle that economy well because, again, TSM, despite winning or losing rounds, have just been taking so many gunfights.
As we mentioned before, SR, forced on top of the save. Right, this is gonna be tough. Where TSM were falling down below. They now have an opportunity to find a guard relief for themselves. We're looking at 6-6 half once again between these two teams. Has maintained so even is astounding and really impressive.
Devin's prepped up for that jump peek. Had the right read.
A second.
Just a frame off, few frames off. A stack up towards C though. The floating rotate back over to A. Again, an empty site outside of Mono Sheriff. 1v1ing the turret. Glad he came out the victor.
Can you imagine?
Oh no.
It's
To
fine,
the top of the Reddit page. All day, every day.
And they choose to use the lockdown by mid. So now through this, they're opening up their options by garage by B and essentially just forcing
Fire in the hole!
SR to the extremities. The entire site, but as they move back, SR groups up. And they likely see that from here, it should be a C here as the spike goes down. They haven't been able to move in just yet, but bear in mind, this is a save still.
You want to hide it?
Okay, good. Trailblazer. Little doggy's trying to find anything though. Info's been found. Sacrifices his life nobly to find some info, but no, even then. The cosmic divide is out. Nature's good for two and TSM that collide against everybody at 3K for Corey.
There we go. That's how Corey becomes the president of season 2. That's what we want to see. Starts off in the White House and completely down. What full 2 rounds from Corey. And now is he going to continue forward? TSM now faces the gun round again. That's sorry. I like the play that they had previously. It was clean. It was cool. Right? Entirely possible for them to take it, but with them not being able to clear out long and so few options left past the wall. Nature also not gone. Beat up once more. Sees the opposite side, takes the hit and comes out on top. Shutting down 7 is a great start, and finally, SR get an early pick.
Had to tank that boom bot early on, but at least B-Dog was able to punish 7 for the same angles that they've been holding against each other for most of these rounds. GMD is not able to find those shots in the back sight though. Bit more defaulty again from TSM. No impact has really been found for their favor. In fact, they've lost 1. Spike is not picked up either. So far, just exploratory. Shopify themselves, they can't really overextend their money. On a really slope. They make a single mistake, they're gonna be punished into the next round. They have to win this next round and bring things 4-4. The snowball between both teams, a literal freeze out between the two has been mounting. We're on map 3. We're on the one between both teams. Any team that gets an advantage here into the next map, it's gonna be huge, and Vic again takes down the controller. It's a funnel now for TSM, 3 left alive.
Good timing from here to just try to see whether or not they look to push against them. And now it's on Hayes. If Hayes can actually get Dazzle or cut off the flanker, that could be big. Oh, but the timing, it's so crucial. He's barely had that out. Might have takes one of the finals. And it's just Nate Tour.
10 seconds left.
What will happen to him? He's all alone by himself, a lonely fade. All he has to keep his company is his tats. No spike. And that's that. Hey, might be able to say the gun in the next round should be able to do so. Yeah, not spiders, so that's
Make
okay.
their fear your weapon.
Not bad, not bad. And Shopify, like we said, needed to win that next round. And so, a big economic game happening on Haven here, able to maintain that just a little bit more. But the positioning from Shopify has been a lot slower than even the last 2 maps. And it feels like every map they're kind of dialing it back even like more and more. And remember, TSM earlier on in this tournament, they were going for the wackiest comps you could possibly see. I'm talking triple controllers, maybe sometimes even like a lot more initiators than you normally see. And they named the game there was to deny agent from the other team. How about you deny a Killjoy instead? Hayes goes down once again. Really good play. And there's nobody on A except for Dazzle.
Come on, Dazzle got a show, but no, but B Diggity Dog starting things off. Considering Hayes is not gone again, the Killjoy Utah's gonna be tough, though lockdown wasn't available. Makes it even harder there. Is, of course, the Rolling Thunder. Still getting control of the rest of the site. We taking our command 4v5. What's the TSM off site? All looking over towards A long. Nothing there by sewers either. And they have the cover. And we're almost at half. But they get off with the final couple of seconds. And they just held that too. But the Hardman kept one in the corner. Just toward the outside. Vic puts out a vac. And cleans, vacuums even the rest of TSM. We're all on A long like dust particles.
Flawless.
And once again, that conditioning factor's coming back. A great eBay flawless coming out from Shopify, all playing off of retakes. Effectively, that's 2 rounds in a row now, Ravish, where Shopify have gotten flawlesses against TSM. Even if Nature survives and saves the Vandal, doesn't mean anybody on Shopify had gone down that map, no, or that round. They have done such a great job just playing for the environment, and I hate to say it, Hayes has not been having a great time these opening last few rounds. Immediately picked off each time.
Let's hope for the best for Father Hayes this time. You know, he's
great one.
I mean, he's once again moving in.
Spike
And
down. C.
Vic starts. I'm sure he knows one more there. He's to go away. The Prowler to shoot, and another gone.
Remaining.
Corey tries himself in there, but it's just with his stinger. It's a save, right? So SR find the groove after a couple of rounds. They take 2 in a row for themselves. Maybe not 4, I think, actually, with how they were shaping it.
It's like recess right now for both these teams. Nothing but swings coming out every which way. I love the way all these team members are playing so aggressively, just swinging again. They're playing aggressive. And it's such, Shopify's, yeah. But Shopify has been so good. So good so far about changing up their tempo every round. We didn't see that a lot on Ascend. They were getting conditioned pretty hard against TSM themselves, but now that they're playing aggressive some rounds and very safe at others, I can imagine for TSM it's hard to get a finger on the pulse about where you need to go next and what to really expect. Keep in mind, the only info they have is off of Fade. Yes, the boom bot does exist and Killjoy's there for the anti-flank, but otherwise, you're really relying on 3 pieces of util to really guide your way through these rounds, and it almost happened again to Hazed.
It's okay. He's fine. Everybody's okay. Now instead, luckily with TSM not losing anybody at all. They'll take their efforts to see. They'll cut noise here too.
Nebula gets dissipated. DMD's just hiding around. Potential pinch here outside of garage.
Look at, I was about to say, look at that as well too, because they put their own scars in the smoke there too, so now they have an option. The Prowler is not there, but B-Dogs has definitely heard that. Side choosing to take a couple of seconds before you actually get move in. Dazzle's gone. That could be big. Hawk catches nobody. And now it's the rest of that shot to defend. Yes. How does get the shot there first? Moves into Hayes. That's an op for an op kill.
30 seconds
But
left.
still 2v4 though.
Spike
The
planted.
retake here is going to be excruciating. They have Seekers available, but until they actually put it down to 3, this might be a lost cause. And SR sees that as well. They'll give it the site.
I mean, look, Shopify's already good for the half. Like, you don't have to overextend if you don't need to. 2-4 yet again. DSM have adapted. They were playing into the fact that Shopify played so slow that last round. They were waiting to see the prime opportunity to swing, and identifying Bulldog with that aggressive play at the beginning of the round and missing Hazed. You already know where your opper is. And 7 finding at least 1 for that entry. That's the icing on the cake. It could go 6-6 again. I wouldn't be surprised. I think, kind of like what we had seen yesterday, we could probably have at least one of these maps go to a very, very painfully long OT.
Last round in the half.
I mean, you're not wrong. But it has always been the trend, which based on just one map. We see an even half, and then suddenly one team just swings forward.
They explode.
Yeah, last time it was TSM to take it. This time, the SR on the attack. It is entirely possible that they show a much more dominant side. It's but that'll all meant to be seen until that does happen. Still 2 decent ultimates on both sides, and TSM are pretty much 1 pick away from 1. B-Dog spots nobody because of how fire Manipul is. Oh, jump shot! So he does spot some hair, but nobody gets a fade.
So you think avoiding B-Dog's op is the best decision, so you rotate back over to C, but you don't realize that on the bottom part of A long, Mata also has an operator. Moose is there for that initial or double contact too. Nebula comes by, a sense of safety, Mata doesn't connect the shot, but you don't know about Moose!
He sprays it, finds 7, that's a big pickup, that fuck gets 2. And the forces fall off. The Seekers not finally put in tandem. Let's see if all of them are pushing through, and yep. It catches all of that as well. No flankers found here either. TSM are all 4 on site. As starts to go in, but Spike hasn't gone down just yet. The winner see if they actually do commit. Finally, yes they do. Nothing for the big take back here either. Cord from up top takes the Moose. The second also looking forward. It's past the wall. He gets another somehow.
Great shot,
What
kid!
a
1 in a
shot.
million!
Explosions, Batman. Let's leave 2 more. And there's nothing getting past that big old wall.
Wow. The only 2... wow. Only 2 had gone down had just had big sacrificial plays from TSM. 6-6 again. Going the distance this series. And we're only on map 3. Potentially out of 5. I like the double off play at the end. We haven't seen that yet from Shopify or really any team. But back to pistols once more. It was defiantly in TSM's favor at the beginning of this game in the first half. This time around, Shopify could be able to bring it back. They do have breach at their advantage. No real smokes that TSM could have used in their own attacking side. So you have the paranoia, you have the flashpoints, you even have guiding lights on top for the sky. Shopify's name play of the game might just be looking to make sure you can't see anything on site.
Can I just say how excited this? I love this. And
This is
7
Valorant!
continues to bolster that faith within me. Beautiful first shot, but he's only got 1 more left from that Dome Hunter. And he better find nothing but Dome, and sadly, no. It's a shoulder instead, the wrong body part.
Keep in mind that lurk from Shopify. Cypher making their way through garage. It's gonna be difficult with the trademark still active. If 7 goes down, though, that's a free garage. Dog is on the hunt, looking to see where this chamber could be. He's got to be on site. There's no restriction, and there it is, the trades.
Paranoid, concussed, and gone, and right-clicked. Leaving the rest to try to pick up the pieces of what they could do with the defense. They're still chilling on site, but as soon as they even think about planting, TSM is gonna be all over him. Actually in the corner, but 1 more falls. Hazed will take up 900 credits for himself.
A really good redemption for going down like 3 rounds in a row in the previous half, but I like the way Chamber was playing very defensively too, not aggressive, actually the opposite. And that kind of brings up, you know, how big Sentinels are going to be on this map. Moose's utility, the tripwires, does not need to be in a certain range of Cypher. Now, if Cypher go down, then yes, that's a problem because they get deactivated. But both Hazed and 7 have to anchor typically on 2 different sites because they're bound to the range of their utility. But if it's a 2 stack and you have C and B covered by both Sentinel util, there's a 3 stack on A. It's up to Shopify to recognize that, though. A lot of utility down on B. The B side, though, despite that, is looking appetizing outside of Vic.
Oh, Major gives himself away, unfortunately, and that'll cost him life. But it's a save, right? From side of the sorry, it won't actually cost him much more than that recently.
The fight goes on for A.
Spots the leg. Well, you could take this. But
Good fault line.
caught in the corner, though, slowed down and cannot get out yet. There was no escaping. It's either you give that to the rest of the team who are all in front of you. But those 2 down there actually could be pretty big considering they have some weapons in their hands. Look at Guimon coming around, just barely gets spotted. That timing with the camera is impeccable. My man Scorsese catches every single shot. And they're running back here, Max. They're going back onto A. They decide, yo, you know what? It's not worth it. We gonna get out. We'll go to C.
This is huge! Ravish, the nanoswarms were just activated and only an alarm button now is gonna protect either site. 7 recalled the trademark and it might get activated just as soon as Shopify get onto the site. But even then, nothing's stopping them from pushing forwards. There's no cipher and you rotate. You're forced to be bound to that range.
Can't do it. This is the body shot by the end of it. Gotta be spams through the smoke for the side of TSM. It's 3v4. They got the bad weaponry, but some stingers haven't picked up as well from this side. So this is where things get a lot tougher. You can't exactly recall your long body turret because by the time they do come back, this will not be enough time. They're all stacked up by spawn. No moving it through garage or either. The rest of SR is watching it. They're waiting for it. They're taking it. They get a thrifty. Well,
That was such a good read.
round.
That is one of those plays that you have to go back and VOD review. Again, stacking up both of your sentinels towards C and B is great in theory, but in the late game, if you don't dedicate towards A site, the site where there's not a sentinel, you have to rotate. The coverage there, it has a big sacrifice. And it just didn't work out for TSM there. Shopify finds some life in the second half, and now it's even 7-7. Oh, man. But look at this. There hasn't been that many adjustments. Only now do we have nature stuck on A. The Sentinels still left the C and B. However, they did swap sides. It's a game of chess right now between both teams.
7 seasons?
And let me tell you, this is no Queen's Gambit.
No, sir, because while they're playing chess, I'm chewing on checkers pieces, doy.
What? Ugh. I did that when I was 5.
Ew. Oh, either way,
Here.
we'll see what the TSM does, though, instead. Because they're not biting down on any sort of thing and then giving over. The beat out, the peaks up just enough. That's the first Sentinel down. And then make their way onto B. It's a pretty easy plan, but it is on B, to bear in mind. So this is where things get a lot tougher. Usually you see them actually move to hold off site, so it'll be a 3-2 with them covering every single angle on B. You know, 2 up top, one up top, 2 below, and 2 off site.
A lot of contact can be made at just about any angle. Keep in mind, no one's facing towards A because Cypher's tripwire is there. We can see, though, with the benefit of having everybody on the minimap, that TSM are stacked up outside C, waiting for that prime time to go in. Dazzle getting a little antsy, goes forward, and Hayes may have found the entry in.
But, you know, just looking to spray through it. Hayes might not go down, but he's low enough. They just be careful. Force him off the angle. And they're just putting a cover fire. Yeah, TSM decide, you know, they'll take the last bonus, but they won't give it over to SR. They can beat out, unfortunately, fall.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be a big devastation for their economy, too. We'll have to wait and see how the buy-ups look. I also see Vic has 7,000 credits, so he's doing good. He's good. He's good for the year. He made his bonus.
My man can slap them with his wallet and says, "Yo, that's me." Either way, both sides pretty much full buys across the board, although a couple light shields and 1 Spectre for B-Dog, which is unfortunate, but should be fine for SR nonetheless. Looking towards C this time. As TSM is also moving their defenses to a 1-2-2, leaving Hayes to anchor on C. Honestly, that's a pretty solid call. We'll see how Shopify responds to this.
And hey, you just found out where Killjoy is, and you're choosing to connect against it. This makes me nervous, but the turret goes down. All that utility that Hayes has set up is completely gone. And then you just disengage. Sorry, Hayes. Better luck next round, I guess.
Yep. Because now if they want to, they can double back.
Yeah, it's
point.
completely free.
They are still leaving Moose to lurk, though, by a garage, which is interesting enough. And considering nobody has actually tried to fight them here either, the tripwires are there by A. So now Shopify has to make a decision. But considering where they're at, yeah, I think a double back should look to be the prime option after the cut noise.
I don't see Seven's trademark anymore either. It may have been played. Okay. Well, I can tell you where that bullet was placed. Good lord. Smack dab in the middle of the eyes of Dazzle. They fall. Lockdown in play as a response factor. Hayes still has 1 more trick up his sleeve. Oh, no trademark. Allows Moose, like you said, to go for the small lurk, slithering his way through, and Corey seems to be vaguely aware. But no,
They're running out of
he gets away
time.
scot-free. He can cut off the rotates.
Moose, but he doesn't hear it though, Max. And this could be big. That's 2 tickets for him. Looking for 3. Can't find the transfer to Hayes, but he's done more than enough. Not 2 more come in. Nature, 7. It's enough here. And it's the boy Johan to take it. He sees him. A shot right on the head.
Wow. We talk about man versus wild, but what about man versus moose? He was able to go all the way across, and again, I would love to know where that trademark was supposed to be. from 7? Because I didn't see it on the board at all that round.
Might be a shot up. Who knows?
Probably. Oh, there we go. Okay, maybe B main. We can assume then maybe through it was B main. And so that was shot down early on. And Shopify had found a really interesting trick. They're just exploiting the fact that TSM love to use their utility as soon as possible. Any sort of contact. And if they can keep reading into this and TSM aren't aware, that could be an easy take to a site again.
And it's a similar hold they had previously, but this time they choose instead to leave 7 a lot more far forward with what they have to play with, which is honestly pretty nice considering the range that you have right now with the op as well. It's kind of a weird angle to try to hold with the range that you're kind of locked down to, but he's past the smoke. So if they do, but they saw him.
Oh no.
And
1-7.
yeah, he's forced to reposition. Yeah.
Okay, well that's good. And there's still a minute left, and Shopify, because of all that util dump and all that info being found, have not gained any map space. They're still waiting, but it's a slow crawl forwards. The haunt comes down. Plan might already be discovered.
They're one way from the Rolling Thunder as well, so they can get a bit of space to possibly take that orb. This could be the way that you take the site. Or look to walk in one after the other. Smokes get put down, there's a concusses, and the flasher with the back of the site. So I think it's shadow control. Let's see the rest of the team looking the way to split apart as well. Clean execute after gaining inch by inch, and they take a whole pie. That's why you gotta cut it right. But no more is being done. A is theirs.
Another save from TSM. Full site control.
One enemy remaining.
Oh, and you're denied the save! Moose finds yet another!
Corey, come on, brother. You ain't getting out
Can't
of
be
there.
hazed. You can't be phased when it's Moose. Nothing stops him.
I mean, he finds one more, so are they gonna push against just yet? Sees another, and that's it. So he, you know what? To be fair, he did his damage. He did his thing. But as of this point, are decently stacked on eco that they have more than enough kind of cushion to take losses like that. TSM, meanwhile, do not. Naturally, as you're seeing right now, it's pro stage across the board. Corey is winning from the showstopper, but aside from that, finally, SR might be able to get a small lead on Haven.
Maybe yet. TSM have always had some weird trick up their sleeves, and once again we see the double sentinel stacked up on C side 2, expecting maybe perhaps a gamble stacked towards C, a big gigantic push, but instead the calls have made it go towards A. Corey's holding down the line, double Kai, with the help of nature.
One
but
more?
No, only a few, and Corey wasn't even good for one.
There's one more just left. Victor taking 3 right away. What a start off from him. Although that could have really gone super wearing if just one more dome shot lands. Cher, sorry, fickle mistress, sadly.
They work for everybody but me.
That's why you gotta up your game. No riz on you, Max.
Maybe someday I'll join one of these teams.
Today's not that day, though. Unless, let's look at the rest. See, but 7 are pushing up. He tucks himself in the corner by window, likely assuming
This is good for audio.
Shopify, yeah, might be moving over towards the B side, considering R3 wouldn't be too bad. Even Hayes is made it over here as well. A is open. The turret should still be able to signify if anybody goes into the site, but for now, Shopify.
Yeah.
Slow crawl.
The best chance right now might be either a flank or a retake. Like you said,
30
Hayes is
seconds
just
left.
barely within the range of that turret. Dark cover goes down. That should already be enough. So much utility already going down. Keep in mind though, there is the dark, there's Into the Shadows from Vic. This could still be a rotate towards C, but no, by now it's been
planted.
dedicated. But that's what these two last left on TSM were prepped up for, just in case it was a fake.
Look at the push up from A-Long as well. Moose and Vic looking to cut them off at the center. Seeing that they're there, so 1 tucked in the corner, and 2 watching on the other side.
Player
It's with the
standing.
push in. Yeah, Moose with the first. Immediately taken down. Now Hayes got to see. Okay, I can't do much more. There are 3 people here. I gotta take a loss bonus. So either I jump across the door and try to wait for the spike to explode, or I give this away to somebody else.
I mean, even then, right, there's no reason for Hayes to survive at the end of this round. I mean, he pads his stats a little bit more. He does have the classic. Paranoia is out. Maybe trying to find at least one. Vic good for the 4K. And this is like a string from yesterday. Vic on those controlling agents was so good about anchoring sights and just finding these wild swings that don't even seem aggressive, right? You think aggressive swings, but this is just like a controlled version of that. And while everyone's not the best money-wise, B-Dog opting to go for the Bladestorm Stinger. Vic is dominating the leaderboard right now. 19 and 11.
Turret out.
So far has done such an exceptional job, and I really want to see what his Into the Shadows can bring out. Because again, with double Sentinel stacked up on C, it could very well be an easy bait, rotate, double rotate play again.
That's true with also well put out double sector like you're saying on by C. So much there, but the haunt is being major. Big the first person we talk about the entire time, and that Gimo to step up. Beautiful, nice, some B-Dog. But it'll just be a 2 for 3 by the end of it.
Look at all that
This is
Sentinel
tough. Hayes might be able to find this. He's gonna catch his timing, and oh, the swing! Mouse, what a take! SR back in the round.
A minute left in the round, though. B looking nice and healthy to take. No other info has been shown, but look at that. You said Scorsese, I say Lucas. Great down, dolly shot coming by. Moose has a great angle, and Seven's there for the return. Waiting to see if B-Dog overextends. So far, nothing. A great headshot angle.
All the rest are gone. One after the next. It's 2v1. They can't do it. The sight convergence was phenomenal with TSM. And it really had to be Corey there as well. Because look, if he doesn't get his, then this is suddenly not possible. But back and forth we go. The pendulum swings once again.
Okay, but I will also bring
Shopify Rebellion still buys for themselves. The TSM too doing okay.
I'm curious to see why the Sentinel. I keep getting stuck on this, like setting up all the Sentinel util towards C side. TSM have a reason for that. They feel comfortable retaking B, which they did successfully the last round, but A side has just been more of a slaughter, going every which way. No operators to be seen though. A 1-point differential between both teams. Though I want to rotate back over and see what's going on in sewers. It's Gimond again, waiting for that Nebula to go down. Phantom on the other side is actually to dissipate. Keeping that star once again. B-Dog's playing aggressive.
Does he push out against nature? You think this could be nice? And yes, he does. Saw move in the corner. Corey can't defend him. Once again, Shopify. Early onset aggression, which leads to phenomenal results. Corey, just a little bit off. And it leads SR on top once again. 5v2.
Seven's already been discovered. The Cyber Cage goes down.
Nice.
Good for early Spada, but doesn't know about moves.
Player standing.
If Hayes was able to hold his own there, unfortunately, could have been able to do it. Down to 2v2, but now 7. Not expecting him in the corner. 11-9, 1 away from match points.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Ravish. I kind of forgot agent drafting was a thing for this map. It feels like a well, all the matches have been competitive, but this feels like a regular game of Valorant. Both teams have been using the full extent of their strat books on top of utility usage. Albeit though, TSM still have that disadvantage of not having regulatory flashes. They have to work on that line of sight denial instead. Astra and company trying to use that utility to their advantage. The biggest strength is the double Sentinel play. Killjoy in 7, I'm sorry, Hayes in 7, have not been able to find the most impact with this, especially when Hayes swings and goes down immediately. 7's next on the chopping block, but he survives. He won't be mincemeat today.
Unfortunately not, but seems everybody's gonna be turned into a turnstile, not needed into a dough. That Rolling Thunder. 4v4, Secret's still available as well, alongside the Astral on TSM side.
I've got your trail.
So this is where it could make a really big difference in terms of the information they're able to gather. And there's Secrets we're talking about, seeing so many of the matches all go towards Garage. They realize, yo, A's looks to be the spot here, y'all. Ain't nobody chilling here, it's open space.
Planted.
So let's just vibe out for a bit. Wait, TP's up to heaven? Oh my god, Vic wins that.
Nice, very nice.
Cover going out.
And because of the recall of the trademark now, Moose is free to go for this mid-round rotate. Looking to see if he can catch them off guard. It's a 1v3. Maybe with the help of Breach 2 with that fault line. There it is. And Vic is there
One
too.
more.
A triple contact outside. Beautiful work from Moose. Everyone on Shopify form together. Super Voltron style and bring it to match point.
Match point for SR. TSM's got to do a pretty solid task. Be able to bring this back. And on what is a bit of a tougher bias, light shields, like not able to afford all the util here either. Still, two big things they got in their hands, locked down, and alongside the big old astral wall, that great divide that's present. But not between you and I, but between the teams that are there right now.
Oh, and Seven's playing a spot he hasn't in a long time. Top there.
That could have been bad, but the fact that he manages to live is big. He's not concussed here either. Speaks out with the Prowler. Not taken. Shot goes wide.
Lockdown.
P-Dot takes him. Yeah, lockdown could be the biggest. Yeah, could be the biggest thing here, but instead they haven't committed, so not used. Rotate over to C. Corey gets a couple of seconds of space, but that's the wall not gone as well. Because they're all moved out. They're like, yo, we're gonna lead you back and forth. They're like a kid on a playground, like, nah, come here. We playing tag.
This is a Benny Hill music video right now. It's just all over the place at once. Nail swarms go down into the shadows, finally achieved. Lockdown response.
Moose!
This is the final destination. Moose somehow finds Hayes, the working wonder child. Yet again, nature's there. Two left alive for TSM. We might be going to map 4.
No choice.
Oh, we're definitely going to map for one way or another, my friend.
Well, yeah, but I mean, now we might.
Yeah, we might not, but either way,
True.
what matters is what comes out on top. And that's it. Now we know who is 2-1 for Shopify Rebellion's best of 5. They take Haven in such a brutal back and forth map.
I mean, what's there really to say analytically about this map? I mean, there was a lot of small micro-level plays, but a lot of it was just repositioning and hoping for the best and towards the end of the round. What I really enjoyed, though, was the usage of the full extent of utility from both teams. But the number one takeaway for me is that the mechanical skill of all these players have been amazing already, but they're getting sharpened up more than ever. We're going through 3 maps now into a 4th, and you know, when we go to our next map, it takes a lot more mechanical prowess, and you know, now is the great time to have a 3-map warm-up ahead of yourself. I'm wondering again if it's sort of like Haven, or maybe utility will take a little bit more of a backseat, and a lot more rounds will be won by just raw fights.
It's entirely possible, especially considering the age advantage system we got going on. You know, it's coming at the gun diffs across the board. But I don't gotta be the one to tell you that you've seen it already. But both these teams fighting tooth and nail, round after round. No blowouts, no nothing happening. Shopify and TSM, both teams want this bad.
Oh yeah.
But we gotta give it to them too, considering how hard they fought. Let's go chill for about 10 minutes. So, in 10 minutes, we'll be back at it once again. Give you some time to breathe, re-up on your drinks, and when we come back, we'll have the rest of the maps in the grand final for the Knights freeze out. See you back in a bit.
And so the battle goes on. Map number 4 with Shopify taking a small lead now, but Haven was a very, very close, essentially a slaughterfest between both teams. But here's the thing. We've been able to compare and contrast all the other maps so far with other games that both TSM and Shopify Rebellion have played. But here's the thing. Breeze hasn't been one of those maps. A map that's so much more different and soon to maybe go away too. A lot of mechanical prowess needs to sharpen up here, and utility may take a bit of a backseat. We'll have to wait and see as we go to map number 4, that being Breeze. Do my best.
Shopify is, of course, up 2-1, as you were saying, my friend. And as it currently stands between these two teams, it's been so back and forth, tug and war, ping and pong, left and right, yin and yang. I can't think of any of the things they go left ear and right ear. Oinky sploinky is how it continues to transgress between the two of them. I mean, it is what you make it. It is what it is, my friend.
The Canadian thing.
It is definitely. But either way, we'll look towards the rest of the map. As Breeze transgresses, this might be one of the last times we actually do see this map in competitive and professional play. So enjoy it while you can, homies. This might be it.
I mean, look, the B-word maps are always the most interesting maps in the game. But, you know, I think it would be a cool change of pace. We are possibly getting a new map soon, so I can't wait to see us kind of dissecting it and seeing how these teams can also just break it down and play to the best of their abilities. But with agent drafting in Valor, a map like Breeze, there's a lot of question marks I think everyone should have. With Chamber recently being nerfed too, I guarantee whoever has that jet, it's going to be like a golden goose of an opportunity. But let's go over to the eBay agent select because I really want to know what both these teams are going to bring out. And oh, you know what? You're a Canadian. I'm a New Englander. I'm going to say it. Shopify has a Haba here, and I'm super excited.
Man, they're going to need some chutzpah for this one, my friend, because that's crazy. They bring it out Harbor. Okay. Now, I don't know. Now, we were talking about this before. But firstly, Harbor is like my cousin. All right. Look, bro, we're basically from the same village back in India, too. So him and I are homies real quick. So that's what's up right there. Secondly, I've been seeing some Harbor gameplay as of late. Big shout out to the homie Creed, who's actually been showing me some of his tactics. And they've been actually kind of crazy. So, I'm excited. I'm excited because Harbor's actually kind of nasty. TSM on the other end is doing the liquid strat of playing playing Phoenix on Breeze. I'm gonna be honest, I do not enjoy this. It is no? I know Phoenix got flames, but right now water is being doused on top of them.
I mean, at the bright side, right? Phoenix's flashes might be the singular best benefit of having it there, but I mean, double duelist there compared to a double controller plus a Cypher. Shopify 100% won the agent selection. Like literally everything you would want on this map outside of, I guess, Chamber, completely in Shopify's favor. Even the KO is a great option. You would see in the videos going into this, MLE pioneered the KO play on this map only about a year ago, but so much development has come out in that time, and talk about the golden goose opportunity of someone taking down Jet, which is good for TSM, but call me a cynic. That might be the only benefit TSM has here.
Okay, you're a cynic. There you go.
Yeah, I am a cynic.
And it's because of agent selects like these is where I get happy that we get to manage to see this stuff. Man, this is so sick. I'm so excited. I've never seen a Harbor in professional play yet.
I haven't either.
Oh, I'm so happy. I'm actually so excited to cast him, man. What are his abilities?
Yeah,
I don't know what the names are.
Oh no! I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, whenever a new agent comes out, the ability names are like you have to sit down for like a full day as a caster and like use like flashcards and stuff to remember them all.
Yeah.
But TSM did play Haba back on Icebox, and let me tell you, that was not the best Haba play. Then again, we don't have really much to go off of.
You keep doing that, you know that? You keep saying Haba.
Yeah, you gotta park the car near the Haba. I know, but you know what? We can't park a car here because it's Vic to find the opening pick and Breeze.
And Vic might be looking to get two more, maybe.
Player standing.
That's another fan down bomb made the wall that cuts everything off as the water rises up. We're looking back and forth between the fire. That's going to be doused eventually. I'm going to stop this accent, but it's nature left. Agent could do this. It's an entire possibility that, you know, he just somehow goes God mode. Even.
He goes in creative mode.
Yeah, he goes in creative mode. He builds on them, and then he peely dances on them. It's all possible.
He's surrounded by literal nature.
You're right, yeah. They're out of the open, but it's the beach. Is the beach nature?
I would say
30
so,
seconds
yeah. What else would it be? You don't build a beach. Actually, kind of do sometimes.
You build the beach, right? There are many man-made beaches.
That's right. I don't know. But also, I don't know how this round's gonna end. There's a lot of unknowns going to this map. Again, both of these teams have not played Breeze so far. And, well, with that being said, Nature, true to his name, maybe leaning towards this being a natural landscape of a map. Tries to go and find at least one more before the round ends, but B-Dog is there. Takes down Nature. 1-0 for Shopify Rebellion.
There. Let's go there.
Solid start off. Already with a 1-0 lead for SR. This is just where gun duels become prominent and imminent. Which, by the way, if you want to get your tweet on stream, go ahead, tweet and hashtag freeze out to go ahead and say what's up.
Yeah, keep her up.
Yeah.
But
say what everyone thinks. Say nice things about Keg's hair.
yes, how completely disheveled it looks. It's hard, okay? Long hair, hair, short hair, doesn't matter.
I
have
relate.
a question for you as we go into another thrifty round. What are your thoughts overall about Hava in the competitive sense?
I think Harbor has some of the most creative film I've seen in terms of an agent, but we'll talk about that a bit later. As right now, my Dazzle gets taken down. He's not harboring much more than just a single. Gotta look for the next, a nice flash. And that'll take it with Corey to transfer that to 2 more with just the pistol. And I moves with the response. He's up against 2, so only with the ghost as well in his hand. He's not gonna check that corner as he sees only one there.
Down mid.
B-Dog is going for the response, but that's B-Dog with a bulldog.
A lot of dogs, you got a dog in them. But Corey jumps down. Those pretty much full HP, both members of TSM. The duelists are left alive, but 48 seconds left and they've taken some damage. Vic's on the other side here. Double walls. We're back in the way old days before Viper became competitively viable. The double tall Viper walls could come by. It's Vic to find Corey. Major again is the last one. Having to play against a lockdown,
30
quite
seconds
literally of a
left.
site without Killjoy. Everywhere you go, intersecting lines.
But now what happens here?
losing.
Because look at this. It's they lost a lot, especially on their save too. Well, on their bonus as well. To be fair, they had a couple bulldogs and stingers, right? But it's only just benefits the rest of them. Now, Harbor can just use this. He cuts off the entire site. But I just saw it. This is a fake. Pops down, wins it. But playing on a close margin there as well. By the end of that, B-Dog knew he's A-okay, and considering he didn't have much of the orbs that can block out the bullets, right? So you can't necessarily risk all that.
Oh, absolutely. And I want to go back to that prior conversation because, again, for both of us, this is our first time casting a Hava, especially at this level of play. What can we expect to see in this match, but also maybe going into the beginning of next year? Are we going to see him a lot as maybe an alternative lurking Viper? Or just a secondary controller?
I think it's definitely more so in secondary controller status because on maps like Breeze really is where he shines. I've seen it, I've seen it once on Haven, I've seen it once on Bind, but he's viable in places where you can make space, without you need to be the person to make the space. Because once Harbor actually establishes like an area of control, it actually gets very hard because of how much LOS you do manage to cut off. And also his voice lines are fun as well, so he's cool.
Yeah. Q-Noob was actually supposed to come over at my place before Freeze Out and do my hair to look like Hava's back when it was long.
That would
Here.
be cool.
Yeah.
Harbor.
Hava.
You just can't stop saying it from England. That's so funny, man.
Everyone in chat's like, oh my god, it's Harbor! But hey, guess what? Harbor's in a fight right now. Actually, he's not. He's almost a little
Dazzle?
disengaged, but Dazzle's there instead. Corey falls.
And they'll use the wall to push past everything. Give them that small bit of cover, but the thing is, to block out the bullets, you gotta be in front of it. That turret does the job and finishes them off. It's a 1-for-1 by the end, but it's now the
Spike
rest
planted.
of TSM to spike down, seeing one. Nice shot from Mata.
I like that cutoff there from the backside using Harbor's utility.
There you go.
But it allows a safe passage to the
Here.
backside too. You don't really have that much info or utility off of that 0 point to do much. GMD in nature
One
again,
enemy
good for the trades.
Last
All that's left now is 7, but not for much longer.
Vic comes in with a save as well. One after the next, they all went to fall in. So for what I was seeing, right, considering they actually did manage to cut off most of the site, but with TSM really kind of forcing a lot of their efforts to look towards mid, and of course the front right by window. So they did manage to cut that off, and by the end of that, it's simply a matter of falling in. Unfortunate that the Harbor couldn't do it, and I appreciate you, Liz. You my homie. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Liz. One other thing we have to talk about, though, is that this could potentially be the final map of the tournament. Shopify are up 1 map over TSM, and if Shopify Rebellion keep this streak going, they are flawless so far in this map. This could very well be the end, but there's still a wealth of more maps or rounds to deal with here. TSM make the adjustment to maybe split push, semi kind of default their way through A site. Been mostly B-sided rounds so far, except for the ending the A 2-1. That being said, though, great cam setup off the tripwire. Moose has everything locked down yet again. The film set's looking good.
Watch this, though, because that was without being gone. It's leaving Moose as well. And it's only so many angles he actually try to cover. But as the rest of them fall in, because look at all just the high-low angles they have currently on the same site. They've gotten in so deep, you don't actually know how you can try to cover everything else here. And Moss taking so much damage where even now he has to go up top. He's cornered between 4 different people. It's down to 1v2, where the rest of it kind of fell off so hard. That's crazy.
Just chaos everywhere you look again. But TSM, they did reign supreme. They finally got their first round. That being said, though, Spike hasn't been picked up yet. With the yoinky sploinky. What does that even mean? It's gonna mean something.
I mean, the yoinky sploinky, you know, it's when you go into a site, you go hide him with a 1-2, right? You drop down, and then it's crazy, and then you dance on him. You default that specifically.
Oh.
Yeah.
I got you. That being said, though, look at this early wall. I love this connection. It's like geometry class all over again, connecting the 2 different walls, and effectively makes mid useless. Shopify off of that, though. They're on their thrifty round. They can create so much space denial and essentially force TSM to choose either B or A main.
This is such a tough peak because where they're all just centered as like almost like a 5-point around mid. They kind of have to neglect the rest of the site control that they could try to take. But this is interesting.
Yeah, rotates it.
Now, as they move over, they have a couple of seconds, but there was watching and waiting for them to move past the wall. But one angle was covered, the second was not.
Last player standing.
I'm more looking at us just dazzle. Can't take it. That's the flawless.
Yeah, that was, a great eBay flawless coming out from TSM, but that was also the thrifty from Shopify. So now that the weapons are built up again, B-Dog gonna go for the B-Dog special, almost a glass cannon with the op, but on the bright side, there is that light shield, so there is that little bit of leeway with 25 HP, but again, still a little shaky in these beginning rounds. I think the space control by Shopify, again, has looked really well, but TSM haven't really been scathed by it. They've been respecting that space, and they just wait for the walls to dissipate and then exec. And I'm also looking at Killjoy there. We have 7 with a potential lockdown, focusing more towards B site. And if they can counter that Viper's Pit directly, they would have free sight.
That's a lot of control already put out early on, but like you're saying, there was the wall up by Harbor around mid, right? That's the early there, so you would leave mid in question, but with that on dissipating as well, it even brings up even more options as to where SI could have possibly gone. So now TSM has to be so careful and inch their way closer and closer to mid by having to check every single corner, jiggle peeking every movement they make.
It's a direct opposite from what we had seen last round, where mid was locked out and A and B were the only viable paths. Now it's only mid that can be viable.
But still, like you were saying, they choose instead to try to go and contend against Viper's Pit. Oh, but the blind line doesn't catch anything. This is where, this could be big. And the lockdown, as we were saying before, just be able to clear out the entire site, so the Viper should be gone, but Vic will take one on his way out. Gotta make sure that he's not going down alone. That's even the spike holder as well. So now you have to know where they are gonna be focusing their efforts. That's another taken. Vic should be able to find 4 here, but he has to reload. Oh, Vic. It's going so well until it wasn't, but still an impressive effort nonetheless. B-Dog with the final shot. The side gets held once again by Shopify.
Expensive round 2. TSM had used all their ultimates that round, trying to find their way onto site. And now without the lockdown, that's going to shut off a lot of opportunities if that space creation is still in that favor. Thank you, Sonny. But that being said, a lockdown once again. Cypher has that full U2 all over side mid and A main to make sure that nobody can really viably push up. But I want to bring your attention to something, Ravish. Not a single member of TSM have pushed halls yet. They've completely ignored it.
I must wait.
Oh? There's Corey. That was the closest attempt we've seen.
It was kind of like a poke there as well, where you were thinking, okay, maybe they might try to push into this. But the spike is right now, though. Not committal, right? That's the biggest part. And instead, they're choosing to take all the space, man, everything there. Meanwhile, Shopify focus the efforts on site. You have null command available for a hostile retake alongside Harbor's ult. So that just brings out an artillery from the skies. That boom, 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 that steady concusses comes to Solari. Everybody might not even need it. Beat out with the first shot. And there was the tunnel control that we were looking at. That's likely why they haven't taken a chance to going into it as well. As TSM runs out of time, they have to not think about, okay, now where do we go from here? We're just getting picked off one after the next. They got to pick up the spike. But A's is completely theirs.
Yeah. It's hard. It's a hard gambit to pull off. The Haba wall divides out mid. There's no escape now. A single Cypher tripwire Moose has to work with here. Great shot down the lines, and Hayes gets traded out. There we go. Haba's all dividing out everybody. There's no safe space. Like four, quite literally water. And it's B-Dog again to save the day. And upping B-Dog nonetheless too on a Haba. But 5-2. Just holding, again, the line. I wouldn't even consider upping Haba to be like viable, but doing such a great job.
Also, hey, thank you, Epic Dog. It's very kind. Appreciate all y'all doing all of that. And remember, if you want to get your tweet on stream, go ahead, #freezeout to say whatever you want to me, Cake, or any of the players playing, or anybody out there watching the stream. Is it? By the end of that, TSM in a rough spot right now. They're giving away a 3-round lead, and everyone has made again.
B-Dog!
But B-Dog here, though, using the orb. That's what I was looking for as well. Rocks on the bonus, managed to get out. The wall now as well, going all the way across A, but the entry is good. TSM for the first time have managed to make the way onto site with full guns in hand as well. And SR, no big ultimates actually play with null theft being gone. So now how do they make the way back in? They got to be able to see where TSM is holding, and currently it's close corners, the close quarters where they're playing as well. The flash to get one, he's one of the corners, said that's we the one to take it. But the rest fall off. They're gonna move in because you see him one after the next. It's not just B-Dog left. It's crazy that even being so far off the site, gonna use the ultimate. Corey now there. He's pushed it against the B-Dog. Gotta be ready for it. Is he watch it? He is. An immediate flick. He sees him in the corner. There's one more gone. But he has to defuse. The second wall to be put up. He's gonna get tagged. Should get it to half. And that's Guimon to close it off.
And that goes to show the big strength of having Harbor, right? You're just able to use the walls, your full utility to block all lines of sight. Even someone like Viper, who has multiple pieces of utility that make sure you can't see anything viably, again, you have pretty much everything in Haba's disposal for that lurking potential. That's going to make things so hard for those retakes. The high tide, the cascades, everything that goes through. Pretty much we saw Bulldog use every piece of utility and not win the fight, though. But it makes things a lot more difficult and a lot more disconcerting to go for those fights. The TSM, they're not going to give up just yet. Mid, B push, all the extremities of the map minus halls being contested in Vic and company.
What do you got, Vic? Push. What do you got, Vic? The flash, the double push up. Meeting them at where they start out the spawn and back into the ground they go again, Max.
They certainly do. There's only 2 left alive, and Vic has their number.
Tagged. Come on, all right, let's see. GMD saved it last time. He gets Mata again. That's 1v4 though. GMD's caught in a spot where he's now flashy. Don't get the birdie. You got no time for bird watching, and now this is doable. They're giving him 1v1s. Still don't have the spike, and I think as I realized, like, yo, fam, maybe we should chill. And finally at the third, Vic will take it. Man, Vic's so damn good.
Oh, Vic is amazing. I mean, throughout the entirety of this tournament, he's been the most consistent fragger for Shopify Rebellion. Just, again, no matter what agent he's on, for the most part, controllers, still good. Just playing this anchor. 14-5. The only other scoreline I've seen come close is Verno, who went like 12-0 the other day. Unbelievable. And TSM, remember, way back in map 1, that conditioning factor that Shopify was so good at, it's coming back again. It's like a carousel of death. But look at this, the guiding light finds that early info. B-May no longer an option for the team. It's gonna be the push-up from Vic yet again. This has gone uncontested every single round.
Maybe this time it might not be though. Bear in mind the harbor wall hasn't gotten up and they're taking their efforts instead towards the B site. Would this might entirely be possible? It is usually beat up on my window, and Vic sees him. Yep, that's gone, and now the rest of the fight as well will fall. Oh, TSM, they had it all, and how the mighty crawl.
Good lord. I mean, what else can we say? Unbelievable effort so far. I want to see what this attacking Haba can do, though.
It's attacking hard. It's so funny.
I'm sorry. I was born this way.
Sorry, but go on.
It's going to be double walls, right? But I don't know. But that's okay. Default again. 2 more rounds left in this half. No tag timeouts have come out from TSM. And the Viper spits back out. Good Guiding Light. Finds the info.
It's TSM just can't find like any sort of subjective way
There's no
in.
leverage.
Because they're like a dog sniffing around, thinking they're going woof, what? Anything there? No, nothing there. Timmy fell down a wall. Woof, woof. Can't find nothing at all. Seems like their noses are going wrong here, Max.
Now, why would you start woofing? I wonder.
That's just for the
plot
Yeti,
thickens.
though.
Of course.
That's
the
just
plot
for him.
thickens even further. And I suppose it may have been for Yeti. But that's a pretty is it abominable? Like the snowman? A pretty abominable
Exactly,
play.
the abominable snowman. But right now, TSM is having a rough day.
Oh.
I'm sorry, that was horrible. I'm
You
so
can ask
sorry.
yourself who let the dogs out with these casters. Holy.
It wasn't me.
The dog tamer, though, does find at least 1 nature falls. 3 left alive, and I want to see the Hunter's Fury come out now. Viper's left on an island. This A exec might be a last hope for the half for TSM. B-Dog's right on the corner, looking for the strafe shot, just swings it and finds 7.
What a Chad! And B-Dog once again up against 3, almost taking them all. Unfortunately, leaves GMD the last one to fall. Man, I'm looking at once again it and 3 to between 8. But what I do want to say is here, okay. Big thing so far is that SR, they do have Harbor's ultimate, so they can use that. Actually, when we're looking towards mid rounds, there've been a lot of slowing tactics that have currently been used, just to ensure that TSM has a harder time making it on the site. Now, with the Viper's gone, you have lockdown, and that lockdown it is a massive tool, especially with the area that it can cover for being able to comfortably get on a site. Something that TSM not been able to do. And currently playing a lot more default this time too, like going 2 up as mid as well. Something we haven't seen before from them, right? Split apart.
Last time we saw Lockdown come out, it was good to bypass that Viper's Pit on B main. But now the Viper's Pit came out last round, Lockdown might be free to use. There's no utility that Shopify Rebellion have to shut it down. But there is that slow push up from TSM. Like a parasite maneuvering their way through the body backside towards the defensive spawn. Nature and company. They may have been spotted out. Oh.
Yeah. They definitely spot 1, right? With that's Moose with there. Watch the angle, he sticks around. 1, 2 go in. And it's a tough choice to make, but him being gone, that's Harbor ultimate as well. To slow them down. And it's just him and Harbor up the rest of Shopify managed to make their way in. And Corey's just chilling over by spawn, but Spike still moving over and meandering to a nice shot. And this is doable now. But what was an aggressive push here, Max? And now there's a lot of options. You can't wall bang that currently. Oh, a big paranoia haze to take it. And now it's 1v3. Vic, what are you gonna do?
Not a whole lot you can do. You're out of utility completely. There's a dark cover in front of you, and there's already 2 different members of TSM waiting for you to push up. And that dark cover's only your saving grace, but even that doesn't work. The Shark Dart comes out, and GMD takes down Vic. 8-4 for Shopify, and what could very well be the final map of Freeze Out. It's up to Shopify now, though, on what could very well be on the worst side for this endeavor. But now, on the attack, double walls again. I cannot stress that enough, how important it could be. Might be able to collapse the site completely every round. And what do you have in return? You essentially have a turret.
Hey, you got a molly, right? You actually got a couple of mollies if you wanted to use those. So there's some options there. That'll leave to the rest of them. Viper wall. up on A, up half the site. That's going over right pyramid. And press T to anchor mainly with Killjoy, but so already kind of signifying that A looks to be the preference, but Spike is all the way over by B. Hayes just sprayed through. Are you joking, man?
Made it look like it was nothing. First set of walls go down, but it's all a big fake. You rotate back over to B, and there it is, a high tide coming through, dividing out anyone to push into sight. But there's still one big problem. It's all the utility that was left on site, but have been now destroyed. And now 7 left on an island has to wait for the rest of TSM to rotate as the spike goes down. Yet there's no sense of contact being made yet. The one differential, though, that's Dazzle, the late game lurk. As long as Shopify Rebellion can stay alive on site, they can buy time for Dazzle to make their move.
He sees him too, he's waiting. Lands one dink as well. But now they gotta look behind the jump shot from 7. How does that work? My man Goomba stops him, but you can't get any more than that though, sadly. That'll be the end of that round. Shopify are now 5 rounds away from potentially winning the Knights Freeze Out event.
So much rides on these next few rounds for TSM. And it looks like, though, not a single buy's been made. Light Shield, sure. That's nothing compared to a Bulldog or a Phantom that B-Dog is equipping. Nature's gonna go for the Marshal. I've never seen more of a desperate buy. This has to work for TSM or it might be over. There's still some rounds of leeway, sure. But in a game where the economy now is coming down to the absolute wire, you have to play it perfectly. These walls, again, they've come down to divide A site. Everyone's stacked up. It's a near a gamble except for 7, hiding down on B. No Viper to work with for TSM, excuse me. And that means you have to rely on a real Sentinel instead of the semi-Sentinel capabilities, but the slowdowns are so much less.
Now we'll see how Shopify plays it. We've seen that tunnel control hasn't been the biggest startup for them either, but they're leaving one of the lurk naturally being this. But they haven't decided to move into A just yet.
That's true. And no mid-control either. Shopify Rebellion are looking for any sort of poking and prodding, maybe someone to overextend, but there it is. The forced buy here for the Marshal's been discovered its nature. Any sort of swing, it wasn't a connection that kills, but no, at least it's good for 1.
And now here comes the second wall as well. Past the Viper 1 to get a couple more seconds to move in. B-Dog was rich enough. It sprays through the smoke. A lot of damage being taken, but somehow staying alive. And now cuts off even more angles. Look at all the harbor util there. You got Viper wall in front. Yellow is cut off. And so you have to effectively stay and satiate your thirst for the rest of the team to die. But as soon as that drops, so do TSM. We don't flip-flop.
You got flip-flops on the beach, but that's the only time you want to. GMD 15 and 10 has been the only one. I'm sorry, wait. Oh no, that's evil, Schreikel. Absolutely evil.
It's okay, Schreikel. He says it's okay. He says, yeah, he says Haba.
We have a lot of Habas around the other side.
Revealing area.
Wait, but they are wasting aggressivity where they have 2 duelist comp? I mean, yeah, they do have a 2 duelist comp. The thing is, though, is that you need to have that coordination. Shopify are playing so well together right now that they can find trades and swings any which way. And even in terms of that, a Phoenix's utility, it's going to be hard to find that viability too, but GMD, let's hold on to that thought from the tweet. Might be getting pressured out here.
Look how far they made it as well.
By, make that 2.
One more swings. The door being open was just free for him there as well. But B-Dog crucially wins that. Gives him a couple of seconds of Spike being gone, but it's 2v4 hold. And how will the rest do it? Dazzle, beautiful stuff. And out here comes the ult. It is time to turn the tide, my friends. But now where will it turn? Where the ocean moves in swifts. Now it's just 7 that's left. We're trying to get in the clip.
Enemy remaining.
1v1, 7. Up against 1. That's it. It's all it's gonna take. He's playing off site though. It's gotta be Dazzle against him. 7, the young prod, coming all the way over. Resign with TSM, looking at Ascension. And now it's Dazzle looking to give him the 1-2 because look where he is all the way around. They're going back and forth. He has no time. But 7 gets him. He puts the razzle dazzle on him, but he can't close out the round.
11-4. 2 rounds away for Shopify to close out the freeze out. To shut the freezer once and for all. To heat things up so much. I have no words. TSM, down to the fundamentals, have not been able to find these trades, these opening shots. Even when they do, we had seen Hayes get pop off with 2, but the spacing potential that Shopify have right now, the Viper Haba combo, it's simply too much. But we gotta give credit to everybody. They're doing such a great job. And now again, a Swallow default for what could very well be the last buy that TSM has this tournament. They have to make this work. That tweet mentioned the double potential of duelists here. They're spread out completely. And Nature's gonna play aggressive. Play for the late game lurk. Does find contact on 1, but B-Dog survives. That's what's up, dog.
No, I mean, might not be right now because that one does not block bullets. And Nature decides that there's no more time for up dogs anymore. As he gets put down. Finally, TSM with a positive start off. But as the fight transgresses even more, as we continue going forward, TSM has got to try to glean more information as to where Esta might be looking to push.
Yeah.
That's all right now. So what after the next look? What a shot from then. The second as well. Complete, taking over the entire site. Corey stuck at corner, and Nature's there for some more backup. It's now to a 2v2. And they're both playing off site. Flash, the swing, Moose sees where he is. They both stuck to their position. The way he was set up as well. It was beautiful. Shopify
Enemy remaining.
have completely had one into the backs.
Where have I
And
seen
it's
this story
7
before?
again, the clutch. Where have we seen this? But this time, it's Moose versus 7. No tripwires there. The cage
tap.
isn't there as well, Max. Yeah, it's a tap. It's a fake. Moose will peek out, but this time he gets it. 7 comes out on top. Times it perfectly. They're not going down just yet.
Oh, a 1 round of reprieve comes out. TSM, they can stay alive just a tiny bit longer. The lockdown is there. Yes, that could be great for the retake or when pressure happens to come to a site. But each time 7's relying on those trades. Find victory. They're letting 7 be that last one alive, the true anchor. It's a lot of pressure to amount to. But he's been able to rack up a lot of these frags. 10 to 13 now. And there's 3 ults on the board. We talked about before about the duelist, and I want to see the run it back come out here. Corey's been having a slow game, a quiet one at that, and it's looking like we're going to see that 3-1-1 split yet again. And there we go, early run it back comes out. Corey doesn't find anything, but he knows. He sniffs them out. He can feel it in his bones that someone's nearby.
But right now there's no more sniffing going on. Unfortunately, Corey taken out by the ult. No and Gleam there either. Be B-Dog instead to take one for himself.
That Viper Wall divides out the back part of mid. The Hobble Wall, too, divides quite a bit more. Oh, wait, that's Viper's Wall. I got the walls mixed up.
Yeah,
goes to
Viper
show.
Wall's on A. Yeah. Harbor Wall's all the way cutting off all the way back.
Yeah, it's
mid,
the
but-
extendo wall. The stretch Armstrong maneuver. And now it's a
Exactly.
1v4. 1v5, excuse me. It's Hazed holding it all down. The dark cover, the only thing stopping Hazed and destruction potentially. No commands down, the wall on top.
It's all getting so close, so Spike will go down at least, and TSM decides not to swing on it. And as the rest of the Shopify rebellion, they'll let to fall off the site too. There's one waiting around. That's Moose, of course, naturally in the wings. He could just peek out past the door and go to bridge. Stop them in their tracks, and Hayes times that perfectly. That's being gone. The rest of them have to fall off. Motto's holding an open angle as well. So let's leave them defending. There's the lockdown we've been saying. TSM is not giving this up without a fight. 7 rejuvenates the rest of the squad. Almost 2 clutches, one after the next. And now it'll be 11-6 as Shopify Rebellion will have to save next round.
It's that conditioning factor again, Ravish. That's 2 rounds in a row now where Shopify played it so slow, played embers of a round, and it went for that fiery execute. And yet both those times, it was a big clutch up and a great defuse from from TSM. And that means now A doesn't seem to be as viable as it once was. But if you go over towards B, you have to face the Wrath of 7 again. Full util everywhere. At least now there won't be a lockdown, which is nice, but you still have to deal with just pretty much the floor is lava anywhere you go. And on top of that, the call's been made to watch out for halls yet again, and Moose might be facing a fiery inferno on the other side of that funnel.
Well, the way to do that is get some water for yourself, and I think Moose right now is parched. And being gone is tough, and I think right now on the side of SR as well, you're just looking to get as many as you can, right? That's a good start off as well. Mara though might not be able to do much more. Yeah, he's just stuck in a corner, but the rest of the team is making the way through some very long sight lines, and portions of the map being actually be caught out is Lusley's Vic.
He's the last one left. Shopify can't be squandering this lead anymore, but Vic's been identified. The turret's there, the domain of 7, king of B site. Not gonna move from his territory whatsoever. Like what Hayes is doing there. Laying down that pre-fire. Making sure that Vic can't escape anywhere like a trapped road, and oh! Sometimes they fight back.
Snuck Vic though. I was looking to at least get one more. Yeah, but not gonna happen. 7, I know right now is on an absolute tear where he is feeling himself.
And it's a 4-round differential before we could potentially see 11-11. If TSM somehow sneak away a win here, then we do go to all 5 maps. But again, if you're a fan of Shopify, I cannot stress this enough. They need 2 more rounds to win the freeze out tournament. They need 2 more. They can't close it out though. It's 3 in a row for TSM.
Maybe it might be possible.
Tried.
But look at this though. Is if they get this, Shopify are on a save once again. So now TSM just has to survive against 2 more gun rounds, but it's 4 ultimates on Shopify. And considering we know them as a team, I do not think they're gonna give them that opportunity at all.
Maybe not. A slow round from Shopify though, not taking aggressive angles like they have been the last few. Look at Corey. Corey's placed so far ahead of everybody else. Seekers go down, Haber's on top. Nowhere is safe on A site.
But with the Molly as well, forcing him off the side. There we go. There's a shallow one as well, but Corey finds one. Take out the lurker is big. He's been such an asset to the rest of the team, but B-Dog could actually cut off Corey this time. His flash has to be so carefully placed, but instead he's gonna swing against him. He's gonna hold. He knows B-Dog is just that aggressive. He's not gonna check the corner here either. Oh, Corey, you mastermind. And that's one after the next. Here's the flash, but Mata finally takes his life back. It's 3v4, but the fact that he got tagged, oh, how the round is moving. It's falling apart here, Max. That's so many options they could just defuse. TSM, it's at half. Mata is shooting, but he cannot stop it.
Completely blind shots everywhere, and one expensive round from Shopify. How many ultimates were used there? At least 3. And my God, yes, the timeout comes out here. This should have been done a while ago, but there was a hope there for Shopify. Maybe that buy-up round would work. And so far, it's been the same story. It's not even conditioning at this point. It's ramming your head against the wall, looking to find a different outcome than just sheer pain. 11-8, a 3-round difference now. A-site has not worked. We have barely seen any attempts to B. 7 alone has been anchoring half the map away from Shopify from pushing up. And even then, when we've seen those late round lurks, it's worked out for Shopify, but usually only for one. TSM, they're playing so well together. They're looking for those trades more than anything else and reacting to the utility that Shopify are using aggressively. This goes against the grain of what we've been saying. These rounds are now defensively in the favor of both teams, and it's the attackers that are struggling. Really peaceful.
X, this is tough.
Yeah.
Well, because once again, just SR are on a save. Like, they'll choose to force up. Oh. This is bold.
Guardian, Stingers, a bolt, B-Dog. Putting the bowl in dog.
Okay.
No?
I mean,
Maybe
they
not.
choose instead of having to, like falter another round to TSM, they'll Just work with what they can, but getting a thrifty here, it could be big. Oh, ultimate gone, but it's still not Corey. You know you've at least taken out one of the tools. Nonetheless, Blade Storm and Heartless Fury is still available. That's going to be the biggest one on their side.
You're on a save round. Shopify are just playing so slow. They don't want to be on the aggression. They want to be reactive. And TSM aren't giving them that either. There's nobody in mid. It's a ghost zone. There's nowhere to go. The wall goes up and it divides out, hopefully a line of sight from Nest. What Mata doesn't realize is that Corey's down below Nest has a great swing to anywhere in mid. And they disengage.
It's just stopping window, though, is a big thing.
It does, but no one's in Nest.
Exactly. And they'll play 3% contact, but now they'll move back to mid as they're linking up pretty much as the same sort of squad, and Moose is also around the corner watching by Halls. Oh, they're getting Corey is really nice, though. He's been watching it the entire time. He's one row up top. Vic with a Noddle Dome piece, and a third taken away by him. But Nature, though, evens it up. And suddenly, what was looking to be finally Shopify on the run back, Nature
2v2.
with a phenomenal effort down 2v2 again. And of course, it had to be 7. It had to be 7, the most fearsome number. Moose finally takes it, wins the clutch against him. It's 1v1 now. Moose has the ultimate. He can't use the clutch, but look where Nature is. Oh, the shot whips! That's massive for him. The ult goes down. That'll be double pings, no cages, 2 trips. But it's just going to be Moose.
The camera's so far away, it's not useful anymore. Moose is in the prime spot to look for anybody, but where are they gonna go? It's Nature to fall, and that is great to see. A C-Tex clutch.
Match point.
Moose, I once again repeat, ladies and gentlemen, has found his freedom, and he shall go where he pleases. Phenomenal efforts from every single one of these players. Shopify Rebellion are 1 round away from taking it all in our best of 5 against TSM here on the Knights Face Out. What a game it's been here, Max. So I can't believe we're almost at the end. It's the hardest free available for Guimon. No ultimate economy on SRSI. It's going to be pure gameplay, pure shooting, and then moving up as 4.
Great hobble wall in the beginning there to divide out anyone from pushing double doors. It's an ununique push that we haven't seen Shopify bring out yet. The spike dedicated towards mid. Bypassing most of 7's utility completely. Understanding that Corey might be on the other side of that corner, playing off contact, possibly of a turret. Shopify don't know that yet, but they're delaying spike. They're delaying everything. Fragment grenade goes down, and Dazzle's waiting for that peak. Guiding light's gonna be a huge benefit here. But they disengage yet again. The double walls go down in A, and most of the floaters are happening to rotate over that direction.
But
Don't leave these 2.
Because now they're going to have to go into all of Killjoy's util. Right? And they likely can't clear all of it out, but they're going to have to take a couple of seconds. No local mail available. Or they catch him with a knife. This is exactly the kind of recipe we're looking for Shopify to get on the site. That's the most important part when you're playing attack on Breeze, right? As long as you manage to make your entry and you just somehow establish yourself in a decent position, you're doing okay, but the spike is moving over. They want to sell the fake it be. They want to make sure they all move over. And as the Heartless Fury so early on past the choke, gets 1 tag, the second tick, Vic wins! And it's Ace site now open. The swing out works out. The second tick, that's not spike dropped. 7 and Hayes have done their jobs. And now it's Moose to hold.
7
Moose, what do you
back.
got for me? It's 2v4. He's tagged, Max. He's tagged. He's stuck. Dazzle's moving over, but it's up against such a fierce amount of opposition. Moose is 4 bullets. He has to reload. Dazzle's
1v3.
gone. He's stuck in 1v3, and that's gonna be it for now. TSM once again move up another round.
Turret out.
A gigantic fake there. Almost caught out, but that floating potential that we had seen from Sova was unbelievably huge. So good to make sure there was always that pressure on the opposite site. But here's the big part that makes me nervous. For Shopify, TSM have that lockdown. And even though Breeze is a very large map and the lockdown won't cover everything of a site, if Shopify can just be baited in, hold those positions, and get into the grasp of that lockdown, that might be a free round for TSM to get into the double digits. All TSM need now of themselves is a few more rounds. 3 more to catch up to Shopify, bring it to overtime in the 4th map this series. But it comes down to the beginning of this round.
And look at the
Nature
buy
pushes
once
up, but
again.
doesn't find a shot.
The buy once again is so tough from SR. It's the potluck, it's the green beans, the mashed potato. There's no turkey here to scoop, and the gravy's all gone. You gotta take that in dry. Unsalted potatoes as well. A travesty there, but the A side is given over. Thanks TSM are confident enough that with the mid is still being in their favor, they can go in as 5. They have the complete weapon advantage. And Vic starts it off. You said it, Liz. One of the players that's completely stood out, but with him gone, it's now up to the rest. Lockdown once again. Dazzle gets taken. The smoke wasn't enough for him. It's 2 more look to enter. B-Dog does his damnedest to slow them down, but they're just going to defuse. It's at half, and it's not what we expected. He falls, but it's just Corey. Corey's gotta do it. He's sticking it. That's 1 more shot, and the Moose takes it on Thrifty. Shopify Rebellion are your freeze out champions.
Ending it all on a Zenny Thrifty is amazing. And it took such a long endeavor to get there. What a gun-heavy map. The utility, yes, was there, but I gotta say, against everything else, the Hopper utility was amazing to create that line of sight disparity. Oftentimes, we saw TSM wanting to swing, but the wall in the way just prevented everything else. Again, the full gambit of everything that you could hope for in this game, in Valorant. Almost every agent was used. Not in this series, but the tournament as a whole. Just brought it down to the bare fundamentals of needing to hit those shots, clicking heads, and being the best that you can be in Valorant.
What a game, what a finals, and what a pleasure to be able to witness it all, Max. I don't know why I leaned into that, but I want to be able to thank you all for watching. Amazing stuff from TSM and SR, and we're gonna get to hear from them as well on how they felt about the game, what went on with them. Shopify Rebellion, man, that was crazy, and I got to be able to hear some of their thoughts, and we're gonna get Mater to come out, the boy Adam, to be able to really give his insights.
Hello? Oh, hello?
I
guess we're still waiting until he comes
got
online.
some time. Yeah.
Oh,
Adam
okay,
will join us in
sounds
a bit.
good.
Don't worry. Yeah.
Sounds good. Okay, I thought we were waiting for the transition, but did you know that Mata's name backwards is Adam? I have a cat named Adam.
I just said that.
Oh, my bad. Well, that being said, though, we're still waiting for our interview to come on in. I gotta say, though, ending everything on Breeze, I thought we were gonna see Icebox. Didn't come out. And I don't know, do you think maybe had TSM snuck out that victory, we could have seen maybe TSM taking it back on Icebox?
It's a possibility because of how both these teams have looked on Icebox, but I think Icebox, once again, it's such a flip-flop map. It's so comp dependent as well. So it would also just entirely been based upon, who manages to get what and how, right? So that's where I would think, where we could kind of put our guesses towards. But until then, also a big shout out to our sponsors, by the way, eBay, Zenny as well, SatX. Well, thank you all for making the mess of these happen. You guys are great. Appreciate everybody for the tweets, saying nice things, and watching the entire day as well. It's very kind of y'all. Also, thank you to production as well for doing the thing as well.
Yeah,
I want to thank you to
production has been
Flippy,
stellar.
Razor, Dazed, First Night in Knee, Jasper, Erica. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. You guys are great.
Absolutely, and it looks like we will be going to a small break while we get the interview set up, so don't go anywhere. We have an amazing interview just after this, but we'll be right back.